Yeah, finna get it. Watch me, finna get it now. Finna get it, watch me run it down. Finna get it, never backing out. Finna get it, yeah, I'm up and I'm out. Used to know me when I nothing in my pockets. Now they see me and they talking, always watching. I remember when you said I wouldn't make it. Now you mad because I took it, didn't fake it. Pressing every day, yeah, I was patient. Putting all that work, no hesitation. Now I'm getting everything I'm chasing. Look at me now, yeah, I'm elevation. Finna get it now. Finna get it, watch me run it down. Finna get it, never backing out. Finna get it, yeah, I'm up and I'm out. See me pulling up, they switching how they acting. Back then, you weren't here when I was lacking. Now you want a piece of what I'm stacking. But I remember everything that happened. Keep it moving, ain't no time for all that talking. I've been running to the bag, I'm never walking. They've been sleeping, I've been up until the morning. Now I'm winning and there ain't no way I'm falling. Finna get it now. Finna get it, watch me run it down. Finna get it, never backing out. Finna get it, yeah, I'm up and I'm out. Yeah, they doubted me, they did it, now they proud of me.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome for the round number 3 of the Infinity G-Series 2026. I'm Woob. Welcome for this first evening of the round 3 on Lago Maggiore. It's a one-make race after two first round with multiple car model on track. This time, everyone with the same car, but setup are allowed for this one, and this can change a lot in the overall standings. With me tonight, of course, I have Finlay and a special guest. But first, good evening, Finlay.
Good evening. This is going to be my. I've been with you since the very start.
Yeah.
I've been going through all the races so far, plus pre-qualifying. It's been so much fun. This is going to be my last broadcast for a while. I have to go off and do boring exams like any of the teenager has to, sadly. But I'm like, as you say, the whole open tuning aspect of this race. It's something a lot of teams and drivers might not have dealt with before in such a competitive level as we have at Mac 25. So I'm sure it's going to be a broadcast to remember before I get a bit of time off my exam. But I'll hand you over now because we have a guest who is in no better position to speak about setups and tuning. Hello, Philo. How are you?
Hello, thank you for inviting me on to stream tonight.
Well, welcome. You are like Mr. Alf present you to us. You are the distinct gaming setup wizard, and most likely one of the best person to know how to set up a car, and especially on this game on GT7. So I think you will provide us some interesting key regarding this race, an interesting combo this evening. If I show you the car, we are on Lago Maggiore East End with the Honda N1 RS of 2022, a small road car, comfort soft tires, if I remember correctly, for this combo. It looks like a kart race, but maybe more powerful with all the setup open. Can you tell us maybe more about this very tricky combo, to be honest?
It's a very
For
unique
sure.
car, from what I can
Oh, I
tell.
thought you said Finlay. No, go ahead.
Yeah, but go ahead, Philo.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
Philo.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
if
Sorry,
you
yeah.
can tell us more also
But-
about this car. Tell us, Philo.
So with it being completely
Right.
open setup, there's going to be quite a few different setup builds you can do to gain some lap time, especially when it's going to be such a competitive field. Building a car to be competitive is going to be, I think, a brilliant skill to have to gain an advantage on your other competitors this season or this race.
Yeah, and it's open setup like we said. It's limited. It's restricted to 100 horsepower, minimum weight of 750 kilos. And also, Finlay this time, we have massive tire wear rate for this race, and also some fuel consumption. But the most important, we will talk about that. It's 35 times of tire wear multiplier, which is absolutely insane. But it's a tiny car, comfort soft tires, so I think it's needed to have some wear with this this combo.
Yeah, I'll be honest, chaps. When I was looking at the regulations yesterday to try and gain a bit more of an understanding about the combo as someone who doesn't really have any experience at all with open tuning, and I saw 35 times on the tire wear, and I was this close to messaging Garnata to saying there was a typo in the regulations because
I think we've lost you for a few seconds, Finlay.
can assure you, exclusively confirming it is 35 times tire wear. Oh no. Oh no, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We've lost you for a few seconds.
Okay, yeah.
But you're back.
I am dropping out a bit, so maybe once we get qualifying underway, I'll see if I can reset my Wi-Fi. So I might drop out for a bit. But for now, if you're hearing me at the moment?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So what I was saying is we can assure you it is 35 times tire wear. It does seem absurd, but as you say, it's your classic Gran Turismo economy box. It's on the worst tires in the game, I suppose, if like in terms of wear, comfort, soft compounds. So, but being off of the fact it's not exactly the most powerful car in the game, we are predicting, and our strategy boffins have run the numbers. This is just a simple one-stop strategy: 15 laps on, 15 laps off, soft compounds on both. There is a complete restriction on tires, I should say.
Yeah.
So comfort soft only. We can't switch on to mediums or hards like we do in our Group B and Group 4 cars that we've seen so far in the InfinityGSeries. So these teams and drivers won't have to worry so much about the strategy side, but that car is going to be a very, very difficult one to handle. And the beauty of it is all of these teams will have slight differences in their tuning because the tuning options in Gran Turismo 7 are so vast. I can almost guarantee you each team will have one ever so slightly different to another. It should be really interesting to see tonight how the different teams go.
Yeah, and it can change a lot depending of the setups, but also depending of the race itself, and if there is any incident, overtakes, or depending on the situations of on track. What's the Philo, what's the most maybe important regarding this combo? Massive tire wear rate, a very tiny track, tiny car as also, but with some tuning allowed. What's maybe the most important in the setup for this car? It's in terms of suspension, or maybe in terms of gearbox in the straight. What's the most important maybe for you with this combo in terms of settings?
I would mostly say downforce
Yeah.
settings, because given it's only 100 horsepower, you're going to want to be keeping your minimum speed up in every single corner. And because it's quite a flowing track, you want to be able to have a really high top speed as well to
Mhm.
carry the speed down the long race, because you're almost on 100% throttle,
Yeah.
or I want to say at least 90% of the track.
Yeah, and it's a different. It's not the big Lago Maggiore. It's only the east end section. So basically, the first sector of the racetrack. If we show you this tiny video of the racetrack, so yeah, we right after the S's. We go back to the turn 3, I guess, of the Maggiore GP layout. So we are not using also the typical pit lane of the big Lago Maggiore racetrack this evening with this Honda N1 RS, like we said with Finlay earlier. So in terms of standings before first race is about to start, we are race one is qualifying of race one is about to start in 20 minutes more or less, depending if everyone is here on time or not. Regarding the standings, here they are after 2 rounds in the InfinityGSeries. The Olds Esports is leading ahead of the 92 Esports team. The Azteca Racing are P3 in the standings. Very, very good result for the Azteca after 2 very, very solid results in this championship. The Vanquish Esports is fourth. Visceral P5. The Elite Racing Squad is 6 in the standings, but as you can see, it's still very, very close. Some teams are tied on points, but it's everything can change. It's maybe a game changer round for this championship. Some teams can win a lot this evening. Some others can lose also a few positions. So yeah, it's still very close after only 2 races in this championship, but everything can change this evening. We will do a presentation with Finlay once he's back with us. 6 teams in this race one, with 4 teams in the top 10 in the standings, with the Kraken, the Simfrim Esports as well, the Elite Racing Squad, and the Alien Motorsports. 4 teams in the top 10 in the standings, and alongside them we will have the Thunderlights and the EPLF for this first race of the evening. And for the second race, the leaders, the Old Esports, will be on track with the Jokers team, the Annexions, the Azteca, the My Team, and the AGT drivers for this first evening of races. Is everyone on? Everyone is not on track yet. 20 minutes before the start of the qualifying session. Just checking that if everyone is okay on the broadcast. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jomas. Good evening, Sky, and everyone on track. Finlay is having some issue. Are you back, Finlay?
Am I being heard? Am I being seen?
Yeah, I see you in the vocal. Okay, everything is fine?
I hope so. I mean, only time can tell. It's I mean, I was only going to get so far without some form of network issues occurring.
Yeah,
So I'm surprised it's taken me this long. I do apologise.
No
And
worries.
apologies for any inconvenience. I'm sure you guys are all missing my beautiful face as much as
It's fine. It's fine. No worries. You're
so
still
I do
in
apologize.
the party. Yeah, you're still in the party for the for the screen share and everything after that.
Okay,
I
that's the main
just did
thing.
a quick presentation of the two races we will have this evening. We will do a more precise presentation, but some big teams are already entering on this first day of the round 3. Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, we were. Are we? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we hear you.
I mean,
Yeah.
we were looking at. Okay, cool. We were looking at the lineup before we went on call, and it was it shocked us that 4 of these teams could be put together. The 4 teams of this lot in particular can be put together. I mean, Sinfreem had a horrible race
Yeah.
at Bathurst last week. They are the reigning champions. They currently sit in the Silver Rockets. That's ridiculous to think about. And I'm sure Stefano Conte will be running the numbers for tonight, as he usually does, to try and improve things, because that wasn't based on any incident or anything. That was on pace. That was a really poor race for them. And as you can see, they currently sit in 8th place in a Silver Rocket spot, or joint 7th for the Customs GT. So it's really far back from where they need to be. Meanwhile, we look at a team like Alien Motorsports, who had a dreadful start to the season at Deep Forest. Mehdi Afidi with a penalty bringing them down to P8.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, what last week with Mehdi and Maka, and to think they would have had a chance for the race win had there not been an intra-team collision at lap 12. What's rule number 1 of racing? You don't hit your teammate. And what did Maka do to Mehdi? He hit his teammate. It is worth noting, if you haven't checked the Mac 25 website this week, firstly, why haven't you? That's a daft thing. You should. Secondly, we do have a penalty from that last race for Brea, the Azteca driver, for weaving down the back straight in defence, which has meant that Mehdi Hafidi has been promoted from P3 to P2. Maka does remain in P4, but to think that he could have had a shot for the race win had Maka not bumped into him off of that final turn. Elite Racing Squad have impressed me. I mean, they're one of the most consistent teams in the lineup, big Polish team. They are making a lineup change for the first time this season. It appears that Piopar is in for Nixo, Bezzi continuing his ever-present run, and it was Nixo that won the race last week, I believe, at Bathurst. So that's an interesting swap, but it just shows the strength and depth that this team have. And then, yeah, there's 4 teams in the top 10 here as well. That's the thing. And we haven't even mentioned Krakensteins. Manu Hernant has been P1 and P3 in the first 2 races this season.
Yeah.
He's been one of the best individual drivers of the lot. But he needs a lot more from his teammates. Cuerdo, who's running tonight as the second driver, had an incident in qualifying at race 1. That ruined his run and ended at P9. And then, as I say, or I'm going to say later on, it felt like the Jose Ito was being flung around like a pinball by the EPLF drivers last week. But he had incidents with both drivers, and that cost him position down to P7. So there's a lot of intrigue within this lobby, and there's big opportunities for the points to be spread out. However, and that's what I expect. I expect these 4 teams in particular. And no disrespect to EPLF or Thunderlights, I just think that this lobby has so much strength and depth that these 4 teams fighting out for the win will be a really interesting watch.
Yeah, they can win a lot of position if there is any incident in front between, like we said, 4 teams in the top 10 in this race 1 with the Thunderlights and the EPLF on track. I see that everyone is already on track, which is a good thing on this tiny track of Lago Maggiore East End. Just checking that everything is fine. Yeah, okay, perfect. Should we go on track? Maybe should we talk before of the qualifying session with the waiting zone and the stopping zone as well? As for the previous round, we use the same qualifying system, so teams will be called one by one, and they have only one attempt to do the best lap possible. Just taking a look at the waiting zone just before the move straight for the waiting zone, and once the drivers have finished their lap, they will park their car into the SCs. Yeah, perfect. So you have all the information regarding all the qualifying procedure. Philo, is it interesting to have maybe for this combo 2 different setups, or having only one for qualifying and race is more than enough regarding the length of the racetrack and the car, or is it better to have two setups?
I would suggest that at this level, where everyone's finding an extra tenth here and there, you're going to want to have the best setup for qualifying possible, because low fuel, you're going to gain so much time, especially compared to full fuel runs.
Yeah.
So I would suggest definitely 2 different setups, maybe even a lower downforce qualifying setup compared to the race, just so you can just gain more time in the high speed sections.
Okay. Interesting. We will see if driver. I think teams will have two different setups, but maybe we'll have some surprise. It's a combo anyway. You have to be prepared regarding having settings open for this round 3. I don't know what would be the time between a stock car, a stock version of this Honda N1, and with a fully set up car. I don't know if it's there is a gap of like 2, 3, or maybe more seconds between a lap in the stock version of this car and fully tuned.
There would be well over 10 seconds.
Oh, even on a racetrack, from what I see in the warm-up, fastest lap is in 55 seconds. So yeah, maybe more than 10 seconds between stock car and fully prepared. Okay.
Yeah, I would suggest that, because stock setup, I believe there's only 50 or 60 horsepower. So potentially doubling your horsepower is just going to give you well over 5 seconds alone.
Okay.
Maybe 6.
Okay, we are in warm-up, so as you can see, drivers are already there. Maybe we can see already some name we've seen from the previous one, some also new names. 2 Frenchmen on track as well. It's a very stacked lobby from what I see. Okay, interesting. Anything more to say, Finlay, about what we have on track before having the start of the qualifying in 10 minutes, most likely, I think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the left-hand side up on the timing screen, and I'll tell you what's really nice is, and I mean this with the greatest respect in the world, not seeing 1,000,001 Spanish flags is really refreshing, because a lot of people get that, MAC 25 Spanish company hold their main event of the year in Spain. Got drivers from France, Italy, Poland, all represented. Last week we had drivers from Britain as well, which was obviously really nice to see as a Briton myself. Yeah. So no, it's really good to see such variety, and like especially we still have drivers that are being maintained. So obviously, if you look at the Alien Motorsport lineup, their main driver is Mehdi Hafidi, former world champion, big deal on the scene. He's continuing his run of having ran all the races this season. And meanwhile, in the Krakensteins lineup, Manu Hernandez is continuing his ever-present run as well. A man that qualified for the elite competition at GT Pulpy last year and was in the title fight until the very race with 3 Gran Turismo World Series stalwarts.
Yeah, some very big name in this first lobby.
Gallo. I still think
I think we've missed you. We've lost you, Finlay. Yeah, I think we've lost Finlay again, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, then is
I think he's still having issue. Do you hear us, Finlay?
I can hear you. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, we've heard some words, but not all the sentences, sadly. But yeah, like you said, I think some very big names of GT7 scene, some World Series drivers, World Tour drivers, at least one world champion, Mehdi Affidi, world champion with Nissan in the Manufacturers Cup. It was in 2022 or 2023, I don't remember exactly, but world champion, but still world champion with Nissan. So yeah, very solid lobby. Is there any big names you recognize, Philo, as well in this lobby?
Yes, I recognize. I recognize Mehdi for sure, and is it Manny Rodri as well?
Yeah, it's Manu Rodri. Yeah, exactly. It's him.
Oh,
It's
okay,
him.
wow.
It's him. Yeah, it's
Wow,
Manu
okay.
Rodri. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, very stacked lobby. We also have some big name on the GT7 scene. We have Betsy also on track.
Am I being heard, chat?
Yes, we hear you. Yes, we hear you.
Right, okay, I just wanted to very quickly say, whilst I'm trying to fix everything, that is not Manny Rodri, that is Manu Penance, for Kraken Stains. Very quick young Spanish driver.
Oh, okay,
I was doing a bit about him before, it probably wasn't picked up, but he qualified for the elite competition last year. He got to the title fight, racing alongside Antonio Santos, Jose Serrano, and Valerio Gallo for the title at GT Pulpi, which was phenomenal to watch. Such a young Spanish driver who's never qualified for the World Series racing like that. And so far in the 2 races this season he's run, because he's been an ever-present for the team, he's finished P1 and P3. So he's having a very good individual season. We're just yet to really see Kraken Stains put it all together, because both of his teammates so far this season have ran into issues off track with other drivers. So Manu really does need a good wingman to come alongside him for this race. And Cuerdo is the man that's being called up. He raced at Deep Forest, had an issue in qualifying where he failed to settle that because he ran wide, and ended up finishing P9 in the race because he got caught up in that midfield slog despite having the pace to catch up. So Manu is a really quick driver, but he needs a solid teammate, and the signs are looking good. Cuerdo currently setting the fastest lap time in the warm-up with the 55.6.
Yeah, okay. Well, just checking that everything is all right, but yeah, we are good. I saw a message saying that qualifying session is about to start in less than 8 minutes now, so drivers are finishing their warm-up session. From now, I was certain it was Manu Rodri, but not. Okay, but it's fine. It's still a very solid lobby. We will have this evening, and some people in the chat saying that this car was roaring on track already. Yeah, this Honda is loud. Yeah, I think thanks to all the setup, I think the racing exhaust on this car. Yeah, the noise this car is doing is absolutely amazing. So just a reminder, the cars are restricted to a maximum of 100 horsepower and a minimum weight of 750 kilos. For this race, we will have a 1 lap shootout qualifying session, and then it's 30 laps on this Lago Maggiore East end. No, it's 6 minutes before the start of the qualifying session. Drivers are rejoining the lobby.
So...
Yeah, Finlay?
We have a last minute change for EPLF.
Oh,
I've never seen this before. FJ Martinez has left the lobby and he's been replaced by Sekou. I'm not sure if that's planned. I'm not sure if that's just been done spur of the moment. But EPLF have basically just substituted one of their drivers. It's like substituting your goalkeeper. You just fall 10-20 minutes in a game of football. Ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen that. But I mean, Seku, he's a very quick driver. He finished P5 on the road last week at Bathurst, but a penalty dropped him down after what can only be described as a silly incident with Jose Ito at the final corner of the final lap, which was definitely a penalty, and that dropped him back down to P10. But if he can bring the pace this week and not have any incidents, he's a very quick driver. But I am shocked by that. Such last-minute decision-making with 6 minutes from the start of qualifying, and EPLF have just pulled the hook on Martinez.
Interesting. Some last minute, called literally last minute because the qualifying session is about to start in less than 5 minutes now. Another question also regarding setups, Philo, as we will have the teams called one by one, so each drivers of a team will do their lap following each other. Maybe there is a possibility to have two different setups, one for the leading car, if we can say that, and one for the car behind taking the slipstream. Is it also possible to have those kind of particularity in terms of setup with those kind of qualifying sessions?
You can do, but I bet maybe that might be viable when you're at this elite driving level, but generally you would normally have the same type of setup across all cars, just so that you cover all bases. That if one car does go in front or another car needs to be switched behind another teammate just to give them even more slipstream, it's always best to have the best current setup on the car at all point, all the time.
Yeah, we are watching some teams already practicing their quali laps by following each other. And also one fun fact with this lobby, we have Joko on track for the Alien Motorsport. He's a brand new driver in this team, and he was before that in the Elite Racing Squad teams. So this evening he met his old teammates of the ERS with Bezi, and who is the second ERS driver? It's Piopo, also on track. So this is also an interesting thing. We will see if Joko will be nice or not with his old teammates of the ERS. And Seko is now leaving the lobby. Do we have another last minute change for the EPLF? I don't know.
Goodness, what on earth? What? I don't get this.
Yeah.
I'm baffled.
And no, it's Ravi.
It's
Ravi. So yeah, it's last second call now. Is it the best way to prepare a race like this? I'm not sure, but we will see. Maybe there are a lot of EPLF drivers confident in this combo, so waiting for the last minute to see who maybe will be the best option for the team. They are last in the standings, the EPLF, though they can win a lot this evening if they do a very solid result. We also have to keep in mind the total standings, the total race time additions of the two drivers of a team for this race. Do you want to start the video now, Finlay, to present our team for this evening as the qualifying session is about to start in a few seconds? Oh, we've lost Finlay. Do you hear me?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah? Do you want me to start the video right now and to do...
Oh my goodness.
You to do our presentation? We hear you correctly right now.
Yeah. Start the video. If I die...
Yeah, I will continue if I lost you. Okay, let's start the video right now, Finlay, the presentations of our 6 teams for this first race of the evening.
Right, 6 teams in this first race. I'm going to go through them all like I did at Bathurst. We start with Krakenstein's GT. They currently sit P9 in the championship, 1 spot ahead of Alien, who we'll come to later. Manu Hernandez has been P1 and P3 so far of the season, one of the star drivers, but Cuedo and Jose Ito have both, for instance, as teammates with P9 and P7 their results. Quedo returns, Manu continuing his ever-present run as the push for the Golden Rockets for the top seeds continue. Now we move along to the Elite Racing Squad, Polish outfit. They won at Bathurst last time out. Nixo taking P1 on the final lap from the Customs GT car of Chaus. Bezzy finished P4. That was a very well executed race for them. That same combo finished P4 and 6 at Deep Forest Raceway, but we see lineup variants for the first time this season with P.O.P.A. in for Bezzy, so we'll see how that combination works. Next, we come to the Mad Hatters of the lineup, the football team, it seems. EPLF Sim Racing, bottom team in the championship, came through the pre-qualifier. They had a bottom 2 finish at Deep Forest Raceway. They finished P5 and P9 on the road at Bathurst, but penalties for both drivers meant they dropped to P10 and P11, and it also means they yet to pick up a clean race bonus. They have the same combo for race 1 with Martinez and Pablo Rubin returning after a bit of hokey with Seku for the second spot with Martinez. I don't know what was going on. I don't think they did either. Sim3 Esports currently sit P7 in the championship, despite being the reigning champions and number 1 seeds. They sit in a silver rocket spot. Pepe finished pole and P1 at Deep Forest, but a poor showing at Bathurst with P5 and P9, and that was on merit as well. 2 new drivers making their first appearances of the season in Save Alou and Frey. We've seen Stefano Conte talk a lot about driver rotation, and it seems that's at the fore with 4 new drivers, 6 new drivers from 6 starting for the team this season. Alien Motorsports had a dire start to the season at Deep Forest Raceway, P5 and P8 with Mehdi Hafidi picking up a penalty, but they rebounded last week at Bathurst with P2 and P4 after Jose Brea picked up a penalty. They could have been in for the fight with the win if Maken Mehdi didn't collide into turn 2 on the penultimate lap of the race. The former world champion continues his ever-present run, joined by his compatriot and former Elite Racing Squad Jocko for the first time this season. And then finally we come to Thunderlight Sim Racing, who sits 16th. They're yet to break into the top 4 in a race this season. Castro had some pace at Bathurst last week, but he got spun on lap 3. They are a solid midfield team. They're in dire need of some pep in their step to push themselves into Silver Rocket contention. Ferroz and Alvaro, the 2 drivers, they have both run this season, but in separate races. Now they run together. Let's see how that affects the dynamic. And that are your 6 teams for this first race of the evening and the first race of the week at Lake Maggiore. I'm out of breath, so back to you 2.
Thank you, Finlay. Thank you very much. And qualifying session is starting right now. I think drivers are about to be about to leave the pit lane. Let's go in game now for this out lap. So drivers will stop in the stopping zone just at the start of the long back straight of this race track. I hope everything is fine regarding the sound on the broadcast. Don't hesitate to tell me if there is anything to change or to modify. Drivers are already parking, and do we have the team order for the qualifying? I don't know if you have the info, Finland.
I do. I have it.
Thank you.
I can tell you it is. So we run in reverse championship order. You'll see them be flashed up in the bottom left, and we won't have the mini sessions like we did. No, we will have such short circuit. We abolished them. The first team will be EPLF Sim Racing. We see them there at the moment. Pablo Rubin in front of Juan Martinez. Then second in the lineup will be, you've just seen them called out now, Thunderlight Sim Racing with Ferroz and Alvaro, the 2 drivers in their particular lineup. The first time we've seen that combination this season. And now we go to our 3rd team, so our 4th lowest team in the championship, sorry, 3rd lowest team in the championship, and it's the team sitting in 10th, Alien Motorsport, being ran with Mehdi Hafidi and his compatriot Jocko. Then we move on to Krakenstein's GT with Manu Hernandez running alongside Quedo. And then the penultimate team will be Simpreme Racing with the all-Italian duo of Frey and Save Alou. And then the final team we will see run for pole position and to set the grid for race 1. The all-Polish outfit of Elite Racing Squad, Jocko's former team, of course, with Bezzy and P.O.P.A. of the
Thank you, Finlay. And we already have the EPLF drivers having a penalty, 3 seconds of penalty for both drivers.
Pablo Rubin will serve that down this back straight here, so maybe all time for the racing lap.
Yeah, and we are about to start the qualifying lap in a few seconds for the EPLF. Pablo Rubin leading, G. Martinez, his teammate, right behind him for this first team doing his qualifying lap. And now it's starting first with the S's section. We are on board with G. Martinez up to the hairpin right now, and the uphill section, if we can call it like this, and back to the sector 1 of the GP layout. And this right corner with the long back straight. Drivers are able to go wide on this part. Track limits are pretty easy there. And now the last corner, this hairpin. Very on the inside, G. Martinez, very wide for Pablo Rubin there. And the lap time for the EPLF, 57.0 and 57.1. The TLS drivers about to cross the line with some gap between the two drivers. But the fastest lap for Ferro and Alvaro, P2, 8/10 quicker than the EPLF drivers, while Mehdi and Joko are entering into the pit lane. Interesting, some strategy for the TLS, but quicker than the EPLF team with a very, very solid margin. Interesting to not take the slipstream. Do you think, Philo, it's maybe because of the setup that the two TLS cars were this separated during their quali?
I don't think so. I think it's more because... Are you talking about these two teammates here? That were...
Yeah, very, very interesting this, but yeah, the EPLF sadly are quite already few tenths behind the Thunderlights, and Mehdi and Joko in their out lap, about to start their quali lap in a few seconds. The Kraken are also on track, also with some margin between Cuerdo and Manu. And we will have last the SimFrame and the ERS, and it's about to start for the Alien. Are you still with us, Finlay? I think we've lost Finlay again.
I think I am.
Oh, no,
yeah.
you're there.
I've been hearing... Yeah, I was going to say, I've been hearing you pretty consistently for the last minute, so that's usually a good sign, if anything. Yeah. We have the Alien Motorsport cars on at the moment, heading up the S's, and then it's a really actually quite difficult uphill braking zone. It's not something you often see in racing in general. It's a nice uphill braking zone, but it's a really satisfying turn to get right if you do get it correct. Then, as you can see, you can be a bit more generous with track limits heading out through this right-hander here, and now towards the back straight. You see really stretching the limits there, well the red and white curve, but they shouldn't get a penalty should the two Alien cars as they head down the back straight now. And then another uphill braking zone towards the final turn of this lap. It's that long sweeping right-hander, semi-hairpin as I call it, that's so synonymous with this circuit. And then up the hill and towards the line now, what will the times be? The two Alien drivers, 56 flat to B. Decent lap time set by the two Thunderlights cars. Can the Alien cars do so? Yes, they can. It's 55.8 for Mehdi Hafidi and a 55.9 for Jocko. Superb laps from the pair. Now we go on with the Krakenstein's GT cars. Cuerdo ahead of Manu Hernandez. They're one of the star drivers of this particular series so far this season, as he was at GT Pilpi. Coming up towards the line now, again, a bit more separation than we might perhaps expect from some of the other teams. Quedo will cross the line first before Manu, 55.9, and the 55.8 for Manu gets him within 0.04 of a second of provisional pole. But with the final two teams still to run, it is Mediafide who's currently on for pole position for the second week in a row after he led the grid to turn 1 at Bathurst.
Yeah, and the Kraken and the Alliance are mixed on this qualifying, with the Alliance P1, P3, and the Kraken State in P2 and P4, and Alu and Frey are leaving the pit lane for their out laps, and Piopo and Bezi are entering into the pit lane, changing tires, and will be our last team in this qualifying session. And it's Alu leading for the Esports, ahead of his teammate Frey for the Italian team. And like you said, Finlay, they are not actually in the standings in the top 6 from now, which is I don't like to say that, but like an anomaly for them. They expect, of course, to be on a higher position, and a lot of margin again between the two Italian drivers. This is very surprising to Finlay.
Yeah,
Bit wide on the
Slipstream's sort of been the team cars at Deep Forest Raceway.
And they don't want to have any slipstream. They don't want to be annoyed on track. All alone, Alu to do his lap. Is he able to take the pole position of Mehdi? 55.8 for the Frenchman. Last corner for Alu to cross the line and to set the fastest lap or not. And it's not the fastest lap. P3 for Alu and P7 only for Frey, his teammate, and now having the ERS drivers to also cross the line in a few seconds. Maybe at least P3, depending of the results of the ERS now. Last team to cross the line in this qualifying session. Results for the ERS: P9, P10 only for the Elite Racing Squad teams. Bezi P9, Piopo P10, and Mehdi taking the second pole position in a row. After Bathurst, like you said, Finlay is on pole for only 36 thousandths of a second, ahead of Manu, the young drivers of the Kraken State. Very, very interesting results from now. What's your feelings about this qualifying, Philo?
Well, I've noticed that the last couple of teams, they seem to be running different turbo setups compared to the guys that are already leading the front. Because you can see by how much turbo pressure is being engaged in the bottom right hand side of the HUD. And it seems to be that the last two teams, they seem to be running the stock turbo, which unfortunately it reduces the peak power limit, so you have to short shift earlier, which would in turn lower your top speed, unfortunately. So this could be why they're quite a few tenths off of pace.
Interesting to see that there are already some difference in the setups. The results of the qualifying session, with Mehdi on pole ahead of Manu P2. Alu is third on the second grid. We'll also have Joko, Mehdi's teammate, in fourth position. Cuerdo for the Krakenstein, P5. Ferros for the Thunderlight is P6. Frey for the Frim Esports is P7, Alvaro P8, Bezi and Piopo only on the row number 5 on the grid with P9 for Bezi, P10 for Piopo, Martinez in 11th position, and Pablo Rubin for the EPLF last. Quite surprised, Finlay, about the results of the ERS in this qualifying session. They are quite far behind.
Yeah, and they were looking at the championship standings, they were the highest team in the championship heading into this race out of the 6 that are running. They're the only team in the provisional Golden Rocket spot. They're one of the best teams in the series now. I think it's quite obvious to say that. Like, we've always been at a point with the Elite Racer squad, they've been there or thereabouts, sort of the bridesmaid, but never really the bride. It feels like that's sort of changed the team. They're starting to become a real force. And then as soon as they have any form of momentum, bang, it just stops. And like, obviously on a circuit, Philo's mentioned the turbo. It's a really interesting decision, not knowing nearly as much about setup as he is, but to go with the stock turbo on a circuit which has such a long back straight as this particular configuration of Lake Maggiore is a really interesting thing to me. I don't know why they do that. Maybe the centres, they sort of have to sacrifice their qualifying run for ultimately a better race car. I'm not sure that's something you'd usually take into consideration when building a setup, Philo.
Yeah, you would tend to do that, but the trouble is there's really only one way of making a really fast car, and from there it would be easier to manage the race after you've made a really fast car rather than have a really optimal car for fuel efficiency, but then be a second off the pace. It's a lot harder to adjust your speed if that happens.
Yeah, and we will have a great start for this race. Is there any tips, by the way, Philo, in terms of maybe gearbox to have the best standing start possible with those kind of cars?
You would normally have quite a long first gear, given that this is a front-wheel drive car, just so that you minimize your wheel spin off the line. I have noticed that the two Kraken cars, they were changing setups during the practice session before qualifying started.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see different setups during the race as well.
Interesting. Race is about to start in a few seconds. Mehdi on pole position. Manu alongside him on the first row of the grid. Be careful behind of Alu, Joko, Cuerdo, and all the drivers behind. Be careful as well of the possible comeback of the Elite Racing Squad starting on the row number 5, and race is about to start. Median pole lights about to turn red in a few seconds. And round number 3 of the InfinityGSeries is about to start with this first race. Oh, and a jump start for someone behind. I think it's Cuerdo or Ferros doing a false start at the beginning. Mehdi leaving the first corner in first position. Manu just behind him, and Joko losing a position with Cuerdo on the outside. Is he able to keep the 4th position? And it's a free wide with Ferros on the inside as well. And a pretty calm stop. Someone jumping the start, Finlay, but other than that, it seems to be okay from what I see. And Joko losing some position as well.
Yeah, I mean, manner of chaos is happening now. Mehdi's running. Oh my goodness, all things are happening on my screen. The connection's really not that good for me at all. Manu heading up the hill now. Mehdi side by. As we head towards the start of lap 2 and into the SS section for the second time in this one, Manu, goodness.
We have Manu taking the lead now, and Joko losing few positions. He's now P8 battling for the P6 with Cuerdo ahead of him, and the Elite Racing Squad is battling with the EPLF for the 10th position. It's not starting well for the Polish team, sadly. Yeah, battling with the EPLF on the inside. Martinez and Rubin of Bezi and Piopo. Some tiny contact on the last corner. Ooh, and Bezi now being last. And do you maybe know if you don't notice anything particular regarding the start of the race and some set? Oh, contact between a Simfrim driver at the back. Yeah, Joko. Oh no, it's Joko for the Alien Motorsport taking a penalty, and Mehdi also losing a few positions. Is now P8. It's Manu leading the race. Maybe a mistake for Mehdi. One behind is catching this group battling for the P5 now, and we have a group of 4 drivers now leading the race. Manu, Alu, and the 2 Thunderlights drivers, Feroz and Alvaro, P3 and P4. Good start for them as well. Yes, Sofilo, have you noticed anything regarding setups, something interesting we could keep an eye on during the race?
I have noticed that there's quite those Italian guys. They seem to have picked up pace since qualifying and the practice sessions. So maybe they've got a better race car than they do have a qualifying car. So only time will tell if they can gain speed in the pit stops.
Yeah,
perhaps gain position.
Yeah, we are expected to have 1 pit stop during the race. We already see some tire wear on the front tires of some cars. Some drivers having half of a second of penalty. The slow zone in the middle of the back straight. And at the back, battling for the last position. Piopo still in 9th position, and Betty on the inside of Pablo Rubin to take back the P11 in this race from now. And now we are entering already lap number 5. Some drivers having a penalty. Oh, Cuerdo having a penalty. Very good news for the Krakenstein driver now with all the group of drivers behind him, catching him. Maybe he will lost a few positions. I didn't check how many tenths or seconds you lose with half of a second of slow zone penalty. We'll see that right now. And he's losing at least 1 position.
2 positions.
Yeah, 2 with Mehdi on the inside. It's 2 positions lost for Cuerdo now. Drop to P7 in this race, while ahead Manu is taking a tiny margin with the drivers behind him. Alu 1 second behind the leading cars, and still the 2 Thunderlights drivers just behind the Italian drivers in 3rd and 4th position. A very, very good start for the TLS drivers, Philo.
Absolutely. It seems to be happening all at once. It's nice to see that perhaps practice has actually paid off during the race.
Yeah, the setup is
Maybe
good.
they need to, maybe they need to focus on their qualifying setup so they don't have to rescue their race, as per se.
Yeah, they are in a very, very good position, and we also have to keep in mind the total standings for the teams. And Mehdi with a second of penalty now. Ooh, it won't be one. And Joko is teammate also with the penalty. It's not a good start for the Alien Motorsport drivers. And we also have Piopo gaining few position. Oh, he's still P9, but he's right behind Joko with a penalty. So maybe Piopo will take the 8th position of this race in this lap number 7. They are not that far behind the ERS driver, Philo, but it's not a good thing to stay, I would say, that long at the back of the ranking for them.
It seems to be the opposite to what the Italian guys are doing with the Alien Motorsport. teams, because Mehdi seems to be falling back during the race after he qualified on pole. So maybe this could be quite a blunder for the Alien team.
Yeah, Mehdi now P8 to serve this penalty. Piopo overtook him now at the back. It's Pablo Rubin in last position, 1.6 seconds behind Bezzi in 11th position. Still 8 seconds between P1 and P11, so it's not that big. There are still plenty of laps to do in this race. But the field is like extending. We've seen now some gaps between some cars.
This is where this difference in setups will really play a factor, especially once tire wear kicks in. Because if you have a really good car that rotates really well, you will save your front tires, and your race pace will be further increasing compared to the other cars.
Exactly. Lap number 8 finished. Manu still leading 1.5 seconds ahead. Everything is good for the young Spanish driver of the Krakenstein team. We have several drivers at the exit of the hairpin, doing a bit wide, putting also some two wheels on the grass. They are like trying to have the wider line possible. Yeah, very wide also before the long back straight.
They will do that mainly just to protect the front tires.
Yeah.
And that's to make sure that they have as much top speed as possible on the back straight. Yeah. It seems to me that that's really the only position to make a clean overtake.
Yeah. And speaking of overtakes, we have Ferros and Alvaro right behind Alu, maybe trying to be offensive now, maybe to take the second position of this race. They are very, very close of the Italian drivers now, Ferros and Alvaro. And look at the position also of the rear wheels, of the rear tires of the Thunderlights cars. It's very, very aggressive setups, I think they are.
Yes, that's for sure. I would also run the exact same setup as what these guys would be running, with the nearly maxed out rear camber to help alleviate the front tire wear and reduce the contact patch at the rear to make it overstim or go into a turn. So that's a very good strategy call for that.
I'm not a setup guy, especially on GT7. Is it something particular to GT7 to have those kind of combo to improve setups and to be quicker, or is it something you can do in general on other sim racing or even in real life? We will talk about that, I think, later, because thanks to GT, you entered as engineer into a motorsport team. Is it something related to GT7, those kind of camber on the tires?
What's amazing is it relates to all forms of motorsport, even on other sims as well. Yeah. Because given Gran Turismo is actually quite, I guess, realistic in some respects when it comes to tyre dynamics. You can increase rear camber at the rear to reduce the contact patch at the rear, which will aid in rotation through if it's an FF car. You're going to want to have as much oversteer as possible so that you can keep the front tires alive. And you do that in touring cars as well, where you can see teams, even at Brands Hatch, they run quite a lot of rear camber at the rear to help the car rotate at high speeds. And they use quite a soft roll bar to help the car yaw and roll through a turn so that it doesn't snap and become loose and unpredictable.
And we've seen Mehdi and Joko who overtook Piopo for 7th and 8th position. Piopo now dropped to P9 in this race, end of lap number 12 already. And Ferro still very close of Alou for the second position. and look at the tire wear of the front left tire for Alu. I don't know if it's the same for all the drivers behind. Yeah, it's most likely the same. I think we will have a pit stop at mid-race for almost everyone.
Absolutely. It seems to be that there's quite a lot of tyre wear at the front, and people haven't really been focusing on that, unfortunately. They might be all driving on dead tyres by the turn lap of 15.
Yeah, and Cuerdo battling with the 3 for the top 5 now. Yeah, very close, the Spanish driver behind.
Will he be able to make the overtake?
He's trying on the inside, he goes for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very good overtake by Cuerdo on lap 13.
And that's the importance of having a different turbocharger, as you can have more top speed at the end of the straight.
Yeah, very good from the Spanish driver Mehdi and Joko, still a few tenths behind in 7th and 8th position. Piopo just behind in P9. The EPLF drivers P10 and P11, and Bezzi already in the pit lane, the first drivers to pit. Maybe it's too early, I don't know. I don't know if it's too early or not to pit. Oh, there are less fuel on the car, so maybe tires would be better at the end of the stint, but I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe it's too soon for him. And the alien drivers also pitting, and for the second position, Ferro's very aggressive on Alu, maybe to take the second position of the race. He did a very nice exit of the last corner, Phil, right?
That is very correct, yeah. But unfortunately, he's been using quite a lot of his front tyres to keep ahead of the Spanish guys. So,
on the inside there, maybe tiny contact, I guess. And maybe the two Thunderlight drivers about to pass Alu in the uphill section. They are doing it. The Thunderlights P2 and P3.
yeah.
Mega actions for the TLS drivers. Now P2, P3, and I think Manu is about to pit. Yeah, we've reached mid-race, and I think everyone is about to pit.
Yes. And here we'll see who has the most.
Yeah, and we've seen Mehdi, Joko, Piopo, Bezzi, and the EPLF drivers already pitted. But the question is where now the leading cars will leave the pit lane with the traffic, or far behind for Manu, I guess.
Whoa.
Manu P1, Ferro's P2, Alu right behind the two Thunderlights drivers. Cuerdo not far behind, only 8 behind. I think he will catch the group of drivers ahead, especially if they are battling. This is what happened between Alu and Alvaro. With, let's say, cold tires. I don't know if in GT7 when you leave the pit lane the tires are already at a good temperature, not maybe optimal, but I'm not sure they are totally cold when you leave the pit lane and you change tires.
That is correct. They leave the pit lane at around 60 degrees.
Okay.
At centigrade. So within one lap they should be at optimal racing temperatures, and you don't really lose a lot of time on colder tyres.
Here comes a new challenger for the podium with Cuerdo joining Alu and Alvaro battling for the third position, and 3 just behind as well for the freebie spot. Yeah, we have with those pit stop, we have some drivers who were able to catch the group battling for the podium, while Manu is all alone now, 4 seconds ahead. He's the big winner of the pit stop, Manu.
It looks like the Thunderlights drivers that seem to be keeping a train behind them, so maybe their car isn't so good in the high-speed sections. They don't seem to be able to pull away, or at least keep a gap to the following drivers. As we see a big train coming out of the last turn.
Yeah, from P2 to P7, almost P8. Joko will still have to catch this group. He's 1 second behind. Piopo 1.2 seconds behind. Joko alone P9, Betty P10, and the PLF drivers P11 and P12 with a few seconds of gap to close for them. And still this big group battling for the second position of this race.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers all within a second.
Within 2 or 3 seconds, I would say.
Yeah.
It depends where you take the gap. If it's in the middle of the back straight or in the S's where the cars are much closer. But yeah, we have this group. Or maybe battle. Yeah, Mehdi trying to overtake Frey for the 6th position. But I'm not sure at the back of this group if battling is a good option because they will lose the slipstream train, I think.
I think that Mehdi will be able to overcome that advantage from not being in the slipstream just by having cleaner air.
Yeah.
As I think he was being slowed down by the fellow Kraken driver or alien driver.
Mehdi very close maybe to try something on the last corner on Frey. And there is a gap now a tiny gap between P6 and P5. And 1 second between the two Frim drivers.
Yeah.
It seems this group of 6-7 cars is now exploding. Finlay, are you with us? Are you there?
I think I am. I've been constantly changing in bits and bobs of internet, and I seem to have got slightly stable for the last 2 laps. So, touch wood, I'm able to speak a bit on this, but it's been a really interesting race. Not necessarily on the strategy front, because obviously the vast majority of the cars have gone 15 and 15, apart from Desi, who I think pitted at the end of lap 13, one of the elite racing squad drivers. But it really does show, I think, how in this particular combo how volatile the setup can be in this game. Because I mean, we've got one of the best teams in the game in elite racing squad who are way behind.
Yeah.
Alien had a fantastic qualifying, but it's clear they don't have a good race car at all. So they're now down in P7 and P8 fighting for the lower down positions. But what a race it's been for Thunderlights so far. I mentioned in my earlier bit, as Alvaro tries to defend from Plato heading up the hill for lap 21, the Thunderlights cars, not one of them has broken into the top 4 in a race this season, and now they're 2nd and 3rd. This is absolutely fantastic for them. Maybe the race one's a bit of an unrealistic goal with Manu being 5 seconds clear, but they can hold position into P2 and P3. It looks like they have the race car for it. What a phenomenal result that would be for them if they were pushed away into Silver Rockets contention.
Yeah, and Cuerdo, we haven't seen that, but he's now the fastest on track. And he overtook Alu, now he's in 4th position, just behind the Thunderlights drivers, while Manu is now 5 seconds ahead. He's all alone. I think he's allowed maybe to win this race, unless a big drama, but let's hope we won't curse him until the end of the race. But behind for the podium, it's very hard to tell if the Thunderlight drivers will be able to keep this P2 and P3, because behind Cuerdo seems very quick, and Alu is still in the battle. Go too wide, and also for the Freely Sport, Frey still having the 2 Alien Motorsport drivers behind him, Mehdi and Joko. Still battling, like you said, Finlay, for the 7th and 8th position. And it's still not going well for the Elite Racing Squad drivers. Piopo still P9, Bezzi P10, and sadly for the EPLF, they are still in the two last position of this race. Let's go back to the battle for this 2nd position with this group of 4 drivers, 2 Thunderlights drivers, 1 Krakenstein driver and one Italian driver of the Supreme Esports. And I think if they continue to race close and to battle, maybe there is a chance to have a Frey, Mehdi, and why not Joko in this battle for the podium.
Yeah, and I have a question for Philo in this regard. You know, we've seen it a lot more as Alvaro goes defensive up the hill into the final corner, and Puerto's not able to get by. The question for Philo here, we see a lot more in real life motorsport these days, and especially in esports like Gran Turismo, which are where I think we've got its origin really. This sort of peloton style of motorsport, I look to Formula E in particular as an example of this, where drivers don't really want to lead a pack and sort of tuck in behind one another in order to gain slipstream advantage and keep off of save their fuel is what I should say. Are there particular setup considerations that these drivers will take into account in order to boost their fuel efficiency? What kind of things can these drivers do to make sure that the only thing they're not relying upon, say you're a driver like Manu who's 5 seconds clear, what can he be doing other than the usual lift and post to save fuel at the moment?
Well, it looks like that no one really needs to be saving fuel at all during this race, because it looks like that everyone is already above half a tank and the race seems to be nearly done. So I reckon
Very true.
The best way to make a faster car for this is stay held with the fuel mileage and go for the most optimal power and fastest car.
Yeah, no, very, very true. Still, I still change my bearings back up in and out of the hobby constantly. But yeah, no, it does look these guys will be basically doing qualifying laps until the end of the race. Apologies for that one. Yeah, I mean, it's all geared up towards a thrilling end to this race in the mid-pack as the Freedom car goes side by side down the hill. Alu and Frey, both drivers making their first appearances of the season. This one, Frey's ran a bit wide. That can invite Mehdi and Fidi into this battle to potentially make it a 3-wide battle. 4 P5 as all of these cars bunch up in lap 25 and potentially closing the gap to the cars in front. That main group being led by Alvaro or Ferros is starting to pull clear now. The Thunderlight's car is second clear of his teammate for P2. So all of this is really developing towards the end of this one. But that battle for P5 looks really interesting as Mehdi and Fidi has managed to get by and will now look at Salvealo ahead in the other Freem car.
And also in third position, Alvaro has to be very defensive against Cuerdo, who wants this podium. It's a lot of tension till the end of this race. We are in the 5 last lap of this first race of the round 3 of the InfinityGSeries 2026. And for the second position, Cuerdo on the inside of Alvaro for the podium. And he passed, yeah. He overtook. Oh, Cuerdo maybe on the exit of this final turn. Alvaro maybe is able to take back this third position. And no. Very good move set by Cuerdo. The 2 Krakensteins GT drivers are on the podium right now. 4 laps remaining. Oh, and a bit of contact between the 2 Spanish drivers in third and fourth position, which means behind Alu, Mehdi, Frey are back in the battle for the third position as Ferros now is all alone in second position.
Yeah, it's a very good job by the Thunderlights drivers. I think it's a very much a bit of strategy at play there as Cuerdo runs a bit wide in the Krakenstein's car. So Alvaro can kind of try and make as much of a mess of this midfield as possible, get as much fighting on going. That can allow Ferros to pull clear, and he's done that fantastically well. Ferros now 2.3 seconds clear, and yes, Manu's increasing that gap in P1, so it looks like he will win this race. Ferros now has 2.4 second gap, so even if Alvaro relinquishes third, it's clear quite a few cars behind him are quicker than him. This player looks on the outside at the start of that 28 3DS, so that's a very daring move in these Honda K cars. We'll have the inside line of the braking zone that was able to hold it there with good defensive driving from Alvaro as Cuerdo looks to push it around the outside, but nothing done there. Going for the switchback actually on the exit, which was a fantastic move. Alvaro into the grass, Cuerdo Cuerdo going up the hill now. They're still side by side, the Thunderlights and the Kraken's car. Kraken's car and Cuerdo will have the inside line heading into the penultimate turn and down the back straight, and it looks like he will get the move done. But even then, that's another 0.4 of a second that Ferros has gained on this chasing pack, and it's looking like that 3.1 second gap is going to be very difficult to cut down in the remaining 2 and a bit laps. So very good job, very excellent strategy from the two Thunderlights cars there, as Alvaro looks to make this even more difficult. They go side by side again, the two lead cars back and third. Alvaro and Cuerdo running very wide indeed on the exit, and they're all line of stern to start lap 29.
Oh my God! And Alvaro very offensive on the inside of the last corner. He tried to overtake very aggressively, but it was clean enough. Oh, Cuerdo, maybe a contact with Medi now up to before the Frenchman, but there was a contact with Cuerdo in fourth position, and now Cuerdo dropped to P6. Even Alu overtook the Spanish driver, and Joko, be careful, a bit wide behind. Oh, it's gonna be a very exciting final lap incoming. Was battling almost the whole race in 8th, 7th position with his teammate Joko, is now maybe in position to take a podium, and he is now P3. Mehdi Alfidi before the start of the final lap, Finlay.
Goodness me, it's ridiculous. Look how far back he was just a few moments ago. It's Alu now looking up the inside of Alvaro. They're going to go side by side to start lap 30 here. Alvaro really trying to defend this hardest against the Italian driver as we head through the S's and up the hairpin, up the back end of the hill. Just 3 corners remain, plus that long back straight for these drivers to make their final moves. It looks as if the top 2 is done. Mehdi Alfidi is checking out. He's now 1.2 seconds clear and definitely out of the slipstream of Alvaro and P4. Just 4 tenths separate Alvaro very quickly, and he's already going defensive down the back straight. It's all going to come down to this final corner now. Alvaro from Ali, from Frey, from Cuerdo in the battle for P4. Is anyone going to get a move done? The three cars go side by side. Manning wins race 1 here at the InfinityGSeries. Ferros will take a first podium of the season for Thunderlight Sim Racing. Mehdi Alfidi will take 2 and 2 for the Alien team. And Alvaro is going to be side by side to the line. Alvaro just about gets there from Cuerdo. Wow. It's the 2 elite racing squad drivers P8 and P9, Joko P10, and then for the second time in the opening 3 races of the season, it'll be the EPL cars that will come home in P11 and P12. But what a crescendo to a fantastic race for the opening race of the weekend here at Lake Maggiore in the InfinityGSeries. Fantastic.
Amazing finish for this first race of the evening, and the win in this first race for the Kraken Stains GT, and Manu taking the win in this amazing race. Let's show the results of this first race. Manu taking the win, almost 8 seconds in front of Theros for the Thunderlight GT. Mehdi, who took the pole position in the qualifying session, finished P3. Alvaro, the second TLS driver, is P4. Cuerdo for the Kraken Stains GT, P5. The 2 Simfrim Esports drivers, Alu and Frey, P6 and P7. Piopo and Bezi managed to overtake Joko in the final laps of the race, P8 and P9, Joko P10, and the EPLF P11 and P12. That's it for this first race of the evening. Absolutely amazing first race. What's your feeling, Philo, about this race? A large variety of setups, and we had very, very interesting results tonight after this first race.
Even with all these full setups and different setups, it seems to be that everyone seems to be very, very close skill-wise. So it looks like to be a very good second race for tomorrow.
Yeah, a second race coming in a few minutes. Just let's go back there, and I will start I took the replay, do the replay feature for this first race, just to take a look at maybe what we've missed, or if we watch some interesting actions we had during this first race of the evening, because a lot of things happened. I think we will first start rewatch the start of Medi. He was on pole, and after 1 or 2 laps he dropped to P6, P7, P8. So we will watch this. I'm gonna start a share screen if you want to also watch this, Finlay and Philo. Just waiting for the second lobby to be open, and to have the drivers entering into this lobby. Where is the replay? Replay is there. We will watch this start, and I saw someone at the start jumping the start. Let's go in game. Back in game. And who was on? Oh, it's Cuerdo, the Krakenstein's GT driver, who did the full start. But he did a full start, but he didn't lose a position. Interesting, the full start actually worked for him, because he also managed to overtook Joko.
Yeah, I mean, polyphony, am I right? I mean, I'm not sure if that's... I mean, I don't want to, claim him and say it's a jump start, because it might not have been. But by any rate, the network is showing it's a jump start. So whether he has actually jump started, or the polyphony servers are just showing him jumping but not gaining any positions when he actually didn't jump to start. Like, look, he's still... Many actually gets a better start than him. So... sorry, that's the other unveiling power jocker, but they're very interesting, because it is clearly a jump start, but he doesn't lose any time. Usually when you do jump start, the auto brake comes on and you're forced to wait for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
But no such bad luck there for him. Very interesting.
Very interesting. Well, we will see if this will be investigated or not by the staff, because he clearly jumped the start, but he didn't lose the position. And we are just watching the start of Mehdi in this race, battling at the start with Manu. So he did a correct start, the Frenchman. I think it's after, in lap 2 and 3, maybe it gets worse for him. Overtook before the end of the first lap by Manu already, but managed to be back battling for the first position. Oh, he also took several penalties, like Joko. Maybe that's also a point we will take a look. Maybe that's why he lost several positions at some point. And it was also something very interesting. A pretty calm start, no drama, no big one. It's not heavily powered car, but with a lot of tuning applied on those cars. Maybe we could expect some issues, but it was pretty calm in the end. I don't know if you agree with me, Philo?
Yeah, when it comes to tuning, it makes the car handle even better than what it would be stock. So it looks like that everyone had a grip of the car, as we see.
And we just seen what happened to Mehdi. Yeah, he went wide and he put 2 wheels on the grass, and he lost control on his car, and he lost 2-3 position with this. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and yes.
Yeah, it explained a lot why he dropped few positions. We've missed that during the race, but this plus the track limit penalty he took explains why Mehdi was at some point P8, P9, P7, P8, battling also with the Simfrim drivers, also with Piopo and his teammate also Joko taking. Oh, and he went also wide at the start of lap 3. Yeah. This explains a lot about what happened to the Frenchman. I also noticed. I wanted to rewatch also the battle lap 13 between Cuerdo and Frey. Lap 7. Let's move forward. I think it's the overtake by Cuerdo. on the Italian driver in this lap number 13. But yeah, very interesting. Some contact, of course. I think it's quite normal regarding the combo, the car and the track to have some contact, but nothing very major. I think I noticed maybe in the end of the race the contact with it was Cuerdo contact with Mehdi, maybe to maybe take a look. But other than that, even with like the start, it was a pretty calm race. Very intense, some action, some overtakes, but in the end, very fair play, I think.
Very close racing throughout the entire grid.
Yeah, that was
throughout the entire run.
Very, very enjoyable. And let's also watch at the end of the race, lap 26-27, the battle for the third position between Cuerdo and Alvaro. Nice move on the inside by the Krakenstein's GT. And this battle helps a lot the drivers behind to catch them. It's the kind of combo where battling is not a very good thing if you have some drivers not far behind, because I think it's very easy to catch drivers battling in front.
Absolutely. It looks like that with everyone being in the slipstream, it looks like it's hard to get away from one another.
Yeah.
There's much little horsepower.
Hey, contact between Cuerdo and Alvaro right there. And with this contact, Alu managed to in the middle of the... I'm not sure this is the best position there. Or 3 wide at the enter of this final corner. And yeah, nice move by Alu. Oh, maybe a bit too wide on the exit. Maybe a contact with Cuerdo. It's very, very close racing indeed. Absolutely amazing. And we will show you also race times that are already up to date before joining the lobby for the second race, which is about to start in a few minutes. Just rewatching the end of this amazing race, the last few laps. Yeah, everyone is giving some space, not a lot, but enough space, enough room to not having big contact, big collisions. Yeah, they are giving minimal space between each other, but enough to have fair racing, I guess.
Yeah, it's great racing. From what I can see, it's very respectful.
Yeah, and right there we have we have the overtake from and also some bump drafting between some drivers trying to gain some minimal kilometers per hour. It's gaining 1 kph of okay. That's what happened between Cuerdo and Mehdi. Yeah, there was also contact at the entrance of the hairpin, and right there Mehdi Afidi, braking a bit early, maybe to have a better exit to take the third position. No, he was behind, but I think it's at the end of this back straight that Mehdi took the third position of this race. Yeah, very interesting to rewatch everything. Just watching the overtake of Mehdi Afidi for the podium. Oh yeah, very good on the exit right there. Minimal space to pass Alvaro Martinez for the third position in this race. Amazing first race of the evening. We had absolutely amazing. Let's take a look at the general standings for our 6 teams. Right now, it's not the good racetrack, by the way. I'm gonna change it right now. Okay. Yeah, better with the good racetrack. The standings, part 1, they are perfect, with the Krakensteins GT taking the first position in the race standings ahead of the Thunderlights Sim Racing with the very good results of Alvaro and Ferros. The Sim Frame Esports ahead of the Frenchman of the Alien Motorsports, I think because of Joko finishing behind the ERS drivers, the ERS P5 in the race standings, and the EPLF P6 last, provisional last, before waiting for the three other races in this round 3. Interesting results we have here. Finlay, is everything all right on your side now?
I think so. So what we've done is, like, to give a brief look into the inner workings of the British broadcast, the English-speaking broadcast we have at the moment. You're in the lobby doing the race broadcast, but then we also have usually me doing screen share as well, so the other co-commentator can have a look, and I can go around the rest of the grid and see things that maybe the main broadcast feed won't pick up on. What we've done is, for the first time ever, I've handed over the reins to the special guest, so no pressure, feeling. But that does mean, I think, but by the looks of things, I'm able to watch pretty well. Like anyone who's had network issues on Gran Turismo will know, you have all the cars jumping around everywhere, taking really interesting lines into the catch fencing at 100 miles an hour. Like stuff you haven't seen before. What I was noticing, Philo, is that you've had a little go at tuning this car yourself. Is there anything you've even noted, interestingly enough, with your own setup compared to what you've seen with some of the other teams and drivers so far?
I have noticed that there's quite a few people that I would probably say are making mistakes with not having as much rear camber as I would expect people to use to make the car rotate more.
Mhm.
But maybe when you're at such a high level, you don't really need it that much, and you'd rather just go for, I don't know, maybe it's faster to have less rear camber than what I would expect to have.
Sure, yeah, and very briefly, just before we start this second race, just so the viewers at home know, we've not just hired in some other random, really English-sounding guy to partner me, because I'm the only English-sounding guy on the English broadcast. We do have someone with us who's extremely knowledgeable on the setup side of not just Gran Turismo, but real-life motorsport as well. So, you've had quite a few really exciting opportunities in your really young career in engineering so far, the stretch beyond esports into real life motorsports. So do you want to maybe talk a bit about that yourself whilst we wait for the second qualifying session to get underway?
Yeah, so my most recent adventure was to go to Silverstone over last summer, and that was with Scorpio Motorsports. And they gave me the chance to become an engineer for basically the race weekend of a Porsche club event, which gave me the real insights of
So
being
cool.
an on-track engineer and talking with the driver and seeing what they needed to sort out the car for their races that were held on Saturday and Sunday. And it was a great event and really eye-opening to what it would mean to be an engineer trackside.
Yeah, and looking towards this, obviously you're still really young. You're still, the vast majority of your work's still within the realm of Gran Turismo and esports. You're the chief sort of setup engineer for Distinct, who don't run in this series yet. Wink, wink, hint, hint. But looking forward into the future, is this something that you see in your full-time career? Are there any sort of degrees and qualifications you have to have that you're working your way towards at the moment?
So I have a motorsport engineering degree, but unfortunately I obtained it during COVID. So I don't really have any on-track expertise as per se. So it's quite hard to get your foot in the door without any real life experience as other people would normally have during a normal degree. But we're still plugging away at it, getting opportunities here and there.
That's amazing to hear, and I
Amazing,
think
yeah.
it's really impressive how a lot of people just, see esports as sort of just being, sort of pathetic take of actual real life motorsport. But like within the driving realm, even in Gran Turismo, you got Igor Fraga and Takuma Miyazono are probably the two, most high profile drivers in Gran Turismo who have gone on to real life motorsport in Super Formula and Super GT, the two biggest racing series in Japan. And obviously yourself on the engineering front as well. And then we've got, two world-class commentators who do the Gran Turismo World Series, and Jimmy Broadbent and Tom Brooks as well, who both have real life racing experience. So, working within the esports realm really does open doors. And, that's something I'm hoping to take advantage of. And it's great to see you taking advantage of that yourself as well. So, all the best for your future career. And it's really good to have you on. You provided a lot of insight today. And you'll also be with us tomorrow, where you won't have me and my laggy network connection issues.
You're fine now. You're perfect.
You will have and you will have another. We have another commentator we are yet to add to our lineup. So we will see him in debut action tomorrow. We won't give the name away yet because you will have heard of him, but stay tuned for tomorrow to see who that is. But no, really interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Stay around tomorrow for the second and final race day of this round 3. Let's go in game. I think a qualifying session is about to start in a few minutes. Everyone is in the lobby, but not everyone is on track. From now, I only see 10 cars in the lobby. Yeah, Alejandro Garnata asking to the, I think it's the Joker's team drivers to enter into at least the pit lane or to go on track in order to start this second qualifying session of the evening. I don't remember the fastest lap set by Mehdi in the qualifying session. I'm gonna take a look at the broadcast in replay to watch what was the first the fastest lap set by Mehdi. It was something around 55.0, something like this, I guess. It was 55.813, the fastest lap set by Mehdi Afidi in the first qualifying session of the evening. And we are still waiting for the Joker's driver. Someone left the lobby right now, so I think we will wait few more seconds, few more minutes maybe before starting this qualifying session. 6 teams in this race number 2. The leaders are on track with the Olds Esports. We also have the third in the general standing with the Azteca team. And we also have some teams battling maybe for the top 10 or at least for the top 12 with the Joker's team, the Annexions, the My Team, and the AGT. And apparently, from what we've heard, the Joker's team having some issues entering on track. So maybe we will wait a few more minutes before starting this qualifying session. Sorry for the tiny delay. Other than that, everyone is already on track. From what I see, exactly. Everyone is on track. Let's go on track to take a look at who is driving for each team. Gunza is on track for the Olds Esports. We have also a driver called Mr. Alf. I don't know this guy. We will see if he's quick on track.
Never heard of the bloke.
Yeah. First time he's on track, Mr. Alf. Thanks to him also to helping us to set up this English broadcast. Thanks to him. Lobby is closed, so I think we will redo. We will redo a lobby. I think to allow the Joker's drivers to enter the lobby and to participate, of course, in this race. 2 teams in this lobby, Finlay on the podium, and some teams who want to battle to be at least in the top 12.
Yeah, for sure. And I hate to clown on your guys, Pierre, but my team had a horrible week last week at Bathurst. In their race, they finished. and this was on merit, by the way. It was Kipto, really fast young Belgian driver, and his British teammate Defcon finished P10 and P11, which is nowhere near the kind of level they're one of the front runners in the French Tour. Which, for those unfamiliar with Gran Turismo esports, it's sort of, you know, Mac 25 and the French Tour are like not rivals in a sense, but like probably the two biggest unofficial esports leagues in the Gran Turismo scene, discounting all the various endurance leagues we have going through the game, because there really is a thriving endurance scene in Gran Turismo. But if you're looking at just general sprint length races, French Tour, Mac 25, my team have made the jump from the French Tour, given there's not much running for them this season. They've not really acclimatized too well. We kind of had them as maybe outsiders for a run to the Golden Rockets even. That's how highly we thought of them. But they're still getting used to the format. It's a very complicated system we have here at the InfinityGSeries and Mac 25 gaming in general. And, you know, the saying goes in Mac 25 that all roads lead to Pulpe. If you can get yourself in the seat, get yourself in the hat for Pulpe, whether that's in the pre-qualifier, repechage, or in the main event, and you've had a good season in this particular ecosystem, my team do still have a lot of work to do in that regard. Another team I'm looking at who have potentially answered some questions after a pretty diabolical first race of the season was Anexium Racing Team, actually. It was J-Rex had a horrible first race at Deep Forest with a 40-second penalty post-race, putting him well behind in P12, and basically undoing all the hard work his teammate Mayix did to get up to P5. But what we saw at Bathurst last week was a really rejuvenated feeling. J-Rex finished P6. I believe he's running again tonight, if I read the lobby correctly. But his teammate Alex24, who isn't running tonight, finished P4 with the fastest lap of the race, netting him 10 points in the championship. They had a really good overall time, and that's now popped them from, you know, really quite far behind and quite concerning for a team that got to the finals at GT Pulpe. They're now in and about the fight for the Silver Rockets. As you can see, they currently sit P12. They're the mid-team in the championship. So really terrific effort from them after a dreadful first race of the season, by their regards. In fact, after the first race of the season, Anexion were 21st in the championship. They've gone up 9 positions. So, I mean, if they keep it that trajectory, they're going to be third by the end of the evening. I don't think that's going to happen, but it just shows the leaps and bounds they come on from after a really difficult first race. And then one more team I would like to point out, Azteca, have been the model of consistency through the season. They came across the line 1-2 last week with, I believe it was Diego Rojas P1 and Jose Brea, a really fast Spanish driver who's qualified for Ramp Team World Series events. He came home P2. He did pick up a post-race penalty. The stewards deemed him to be weaving down the back straight in the final lap in defence of Mehdi Hafidi. Probably a fair penalty as things stand, but like the system which was applied, only a 1 second penalty, but it does mean he dropped down to P3 and Mehdi inherited that P2. It's been a really strong couple of weeks for the former world champion alien motorsport driver. But of all the teams so far this season to bring the fight to Owls, 92 haven't succeeded so far. Neither of Customs GT. Next up in the pecking order for your championship leaders are Azteca. But Owls, first race of the season for Alf. We totally won't be taking the mick out of him through the entire race for his dreadful racecraft and his horrible positioning. But we'll have debates here in the British broadcast. He'll do very well tonight. And alongside him, as you say, is Gunza, who won his race at Bathurst. Very impressive effort. Picking up for a bit of a hectic race for his teammate by Jim, who came home P5. Yeah. But as you say, still hold that 5-point championship lead, and they'll be looking to go far tonight and consolidate that lead to make it an even bigger one as 92 Esports run tomorrow in order to gain the championship lead for the first time. That'll be what they're planning on doing.
Yeah, lobby is open if you want Philo to join in, or if maybe you prefer to have the lobby ID, or I don't know, if you can see the lobby.
I think I do. Yeah, we need the ID.
Yeah, I'm giving
Have
you.
we got?
Okay. Up, I'm sending you this.
Well, brief bit of interlude. I do have the drivers for all 6 teams. I have very quick fingers, so I managed to note down all of them. We have Owls, we've already mentioned. Alf and Gunza are their lineup. AGT drivers sees the first race of the season for Raul, as he's called, and he'll be running alongside Herr Kreuzer, who ran for the team at the pre-qualification event at Brands Hatch at the very start of the season. And he also ran, I believe, one of the races this season for them as well. Yes, he finished P10 at Deep Forest Raceway. The Joker's E-team giving 2 first runs of the season to Penalba and Soler, and they're a pretty established team in this ecosystem. They really need a bit of inspiration. They currently sit 21st in the championship and were the worst performing team at Bathurst last week, picking up only 6 points in a race where pretty much everything that could have gone wrong for them went wrong. So a horrible race for them. Azteca with an unchanged lineup, Diego Rojas and Jose Brea, as we say. My team have Punisher and Defcon, 2 drivers that ran together at the pre-qualifier. They've also ran together in the first 2 races. They've also ran in the first 2 races of the season, but not together. Kitso's been the ever-present until this point. He's taking a week off, so it'll be the Frenchman and the Briton running together for them. Yeah. Anexion, J-Rex continues his 100% run through the season so far, and it is a first appearance of the season handed to Vickerman, who comes in to replace Alex, who finished P4 and got the fastest lap last week. So all change for some teams, consistency for some others. There's some really interesting lineups that we'll see develop through this race as we get ready for the round 2, and we are having some continued lobby issues with the Joker's E-team drivers, so we'll continue to see that develop. Hopefully not for them, but we'll keep you updated as the lobby goes on. Because obviously we're not Jokers.
And I think the Joker's team won't be able to take part in the race, I guess, because I've seen Soler leaving the lobby, putting message in Spanish, but I don't speak Spanish though. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna get Google Translate up. Hold on. Talk.
They said, let me go back to the chat. Empezar compañeros, perdón por la espera de verdad.
Spanish, I can read.
Empezar compañeros, perdón por.
I apologize.
Perdón por la espera de verdad. Voilà.
JKT out. That's the confirmation. Gunata. Jokers will not be racing.
Yeah,
that's a real shame.
Jokers are out. Sadly, we will have only 10 cars on track. Do you want me to start the video right now, Finlay, to present our teams? Because qualifying is starting.
Right. You know what, man? Go on. I don't have to say anything with Jokers. Okay. Final 6 teams of this evening. Second race of the round. Owls Esports, your current championship leaders, 5 points clear of 92 Esports in second. They've won both races they've run in this season. Debut 10 won at Deep Forest with pole and the fastest lap. And then Gunza finished P1 at Bathurst. Mr. Alf gets his first run out of the season. Team principal, he's actually the man that's come up with this setup himself, so he told me. So it'll be interesting to see how they run tonight as they look to consolidate their championship lead. Moving on to the second team in this green group, Joker's E-team. Sadly, we won't be seeing them tonight. They've had a dreadful season so far, and it looks like that'll be continuing. Only 18 points amassed in the first 2 rounds, with a high finish of P7 from Furpando. They're yet to break into the top 6 in an individual race this season, and sadly they won't be able to do so. So hopefully we see them return next week for round 4. Anexion Racing team will move on to now. They're the third and final team in this green group. Came through to pre-qualify despite being Puppy finalists last year, and despite a horror show of the first race for J-Rex, who finished P12 with a 40-second penalty, and Maix, who finished P5. They really got their act together at Bathurst last week, with Alex finishing P4 and the fastest lap, and being in with a fight for the race win alongside the 292 drivers. And the Gunza Action will go with J-Rex again tonight, and Vickerman will get his first appearance of the season in the second car. Azteca Racing Motorsport currently sit third in the team's championship, fourth, I should say, joint third on 66 points, with Jose Brea and Diego Rojas running last week at Bathurst. Rojas won the race with the fastest lap. Brea with a penalty taking him down from P2 on the road to P3. They're running with the same lineup this week here at Lake Maggiore. My team Esports, one of the top teams in the French Tour, have deferred over to Mac 25 this season. As a result of not much in the way of running for the French Tour this season, they came through the pre-qualifier. Round one at Deep Forest was decent signs. P6 for Kipso, P8 for Punisher. However, it was a week off for them at Bathurst. A week to forget. Kipso P10, Defcon P11, meaning they are now well inside the Bronze Rockets race, currently sitting 19th in the championship. And rounding out our teams this evening, AGT drivers, who currently sit in the championship in P15 on 33 points. It's been a very consistent, if underwhelming, run for them so far this season. Herr Kreuser's running tonight. He finished P10 in the first race of the season at Deep Forest. He's the only driver in this lineup to have raced so far this season, as they get their first run out of the season to Raul. Those are the 6 teams running this evening for our final race. Hopefully my network stays together, all looks well.
Perfect.
Qualifying is underway now, and my team and the first team hold to the pit lane with Defcon and Punisher, the chosen duo for the first time this season since we saw them at the Brands Hatch pre-qualifier, Pierre.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Finlay. Defcon and Punisher exactly called first. It was supposed to be the Joker's team to be called first in this session, but sadly they can't attend this race due to internet issues. Sadly for them, so only 10 tracks and 5 teams for this second race of the evening. Defcon ahead of Punisher. Punisher won the French Tour Series a few days ago, and they are the only team on track. The My Team actually. We will have them, the AGT teams, called to be the second team on track. Punisher and Defcon, with a tiny gap between the two cars as well. We've seen that in the first session. The cars are not very close from each other. A bit wide there in the right turn before the long back straight, and the AGT called now to go into the pit lane and to do their out lap. Defcon to finish his lap, the fastest lap of the first session in 55.8, set by Mediafidi. Defcon to cross the line in a few seconds.
To the line now.
56.1 and 56.2 for Defcon, and Punisher, Air Cruiser, and Raul Toledo for the AGT drivers in the pit lane.
Yeah, and it's a decent run from the My Team drivers. You know, I don't think a 56 will be pushing it for pole. I mean, you're looking at about 55 for pole, as we saw in race 1 with Mediafidi taking pole position for the Alien team.
Yeah.
But the luxury that these drivers will have, and in this particular lobby with the dropout of Jokers, who were being told Mr. Alpha's doing a Trojan effort, by the way. He's currently sitting ready to do his qualifying lap, and he's still relaying us information where he can, so thank you very much if he's listening. I hope you're well. But they made a mistake with the car tuning. So I'm not sure if they've set up the tune wrong. Obviously, they might be unable to change it at such short notice, but we're having to start without them, and that does mean that each team, they have enough time in the session to do a full out lap, even with the fuel, and then run. They don't have any cars up ahead, they don't have any cars up behind, they get full lap to themselves, they can use as much of the track as possible. I mean, it wouldn't make that much of a difference either way. I mean, there's still enough space on the track to run 2 at a time, but it's maybe just to add a bit of reassurance as the AGT drivers team begin their flying lap again. Not as close as we've seen. In fact, we've seen drivers come too close before with the qualifying slipstream this season. I think it was the Joker's team had an incident in Deep Forest. They got too close together in the infield section. No, it was down the back straight actually. The bump draft didn't quite work out, and that cost one of the drivers their qualifying time. We're not seeing any of that here. The drivers are spread out enough already. Maybe Raul is on the back of the slipstream there just about, but only just enough so he can pick it up, but not enough that he's right up behind her Croiser in front and causing a potential issue for him. You can see the cars really running wide up the hill and on the right turn there, and then up towards the hairpin in the final lap of this very short circuit here. 56.1 the time to beat from Defcon, the British driver for My Team Esports. Can it be bested by either of the two AGT drivers as her Croiser comes up to the line ahead of Raul Toledo? See whether that 56.12 can be ousted up to the line now. And they can be 56 flat for her Croiser. It's a 56.3 for Raul, so 3/10 slower than his teammate. But it is provisional pole for the AGT driver. Phenomenal effort.
Yeah, very, very good lap time set by Air Cruiser in his qualifying. Now the Annexions team in their out lap or in their...
I believe they're on their flying lap now.
Yeah, they're on the flying lap. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
G-Rex to cross the line ahead of his teammate Vikaman, and P3 for G-Rex and Vikaman P6 last actually in this session. 2 more teams to do their qualifying lap, the Esports and the Azteca of Brea and Diego Rojas already in the pit lane, and the all Esports drivers just being called and entering into the pit lane. And actually Air Cruiser is the fastest on track. It's not the fastest lap we've seen compared to the first qualifying session of the evening, as Mehdi did a 55.8, but we are not that far, to be honest.
No, we aren't. And what I've noticed is the top three are a combination of my team, AGT, and Annexion, and the bottom three are a combination of my team, AGT, and Annexion. So we've got a completely jumbled up field at the moment, and a lot of what we've seen so far this season, at its core, is based on team dynamics. So drivers will look to stick together with their teammate, and obviously they'll probably be in a party chat right now discussing, when to make moves, when to tuck into the slipstream. We've got a completely bunched up field here, and with the open setup nature of this race, it's not a given that the front two rows are Azteca and Owls. We can have a completely jumbled up field of it, which throws all form of team dynamics and team instructions out of the window. It's basically every man for themselves. It's really interesting.
Brea, in the end of the Sector 1, is it purple or not? Yes, it's purple for almost a tenth of a second. Brea maybe to take the provisional pole, waiting for the two all Esports drivers to cross the line, but it seems to be a very quick lap time that Brea is about to set. Careful at the entrance of this final turn, very wide there, and Brea to cross the line, and I think it's a provisional pole for Brea, waiting for the last drivers. 59.9, and Diego Rojas P2, first row locked or not for the Azteca drivers, waiting now for Mr. Alf and Gunza to cross the line.
Big gap, massive gap between the two drivers. Alf way out in front. I'm not sure if they started like that or Gunza's had some instant it's dropped him back. But what I'm seeing on field screen is there's a massive gap now. Alf up to the line now. Can he stick it on provisional pole? No, it's P2 for the boss man of Owls, and it's P2 again for Gunza. What? I mean, commentators curse. I said, it's not a given the front two rows will be Owls and Azteca. Well, look, it is. It's Brea on pole position. It's not the fastest one of the week we've seen. Mehdi holds on to that provisional extra bonus point. Yeah. But it's Brea P1, Gunza P2, Alf P3, Diego Rojas P4, and that Azteca Owls battle has just advanced itself as those are the two teams that will lock out the first two rows for our final race of the evening. Philo, what do you make of that session?
It's incredibly close between all these different teams and all these different setups. I'm really impressed with the skill level and how close it is. It's incredibly competitive.
And only 10.
You have to put a word into your superiors at distinct, I think.
Maybe we'll see. It depends if you guys want to do some more tuning lobbies or tuning races in your championship.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll put your pay in the bank later on, don't worry.
And Brea is on pole for only 10 thousandths of a second. Last week we had a pole for only 1 thousandth of a second, but this time it's only 10 between the fastest and the P2 in this qualifying session. Still very close, and also 10 thousandths of a second between P3 and P4. Very, very close results in this qualifying session. Brea will start on pole. Behind him, the two Olds drivers with Gunza P2, Mr. Alf P3. Diego Rojas, the second Azteca driver, is on the row number 2, P4. Row number 3 with Air Cruiser and Defcon for my team. G-Rex P7 ahead of Punisher P8, and on the last row we have Raul Toledo for the AGT drivers, and for the annexions Vikaman will start last in this race. Just a reminder for those who are joining, only 10 drivers because of jokers who can't participate to the race due to some tuning issues with their cars. Interesting qualifying. And yeah, all the teams are quite mixed, except for the All Sport P2 and P3 in the middle of the two Aztecas cars. It can be a very, very interesting start, Finlay.
Yeah, it really will. I mean, this is P1 and P3 of the championship heading down towards turn one. I know what early doors in the regular season, but you think of a battle like this, and you think this could be crucial, like for the end, come the end of the season, as to whether these guys end up in the gold or silver Rockets. I mean, at its core, for the first phase of the season, it doesn't matter whether you finish P1 or P6, because by the time the Rockets phase comes in, all the points get chucked away. It's like a new regular season started, except it's a 3-race playoff system. But these crucial battles between championship leaders like Azteca and Owls, say there's an incident lap one of this race, Diego Rojas falls back to P12, and we've seen this season drivers have found it really difficult to work their way back up just purely because of the skill level involved in these lobbies. That could be a championship battle decided. That could be a Golden Rockets berth decided. So it's going to be really interesting. And as you mentioned, a lot of jumbled up teams and drivers there. The Owls team, the only team that are together as such. If we're looking at these party chats, Phil, I'm not sure if you've been a part of any. Does there tend to be a sort of race engineer in there like you sometimes see in F1 Esports, or is it often just the two drivers themselves?
It is most often just drivers themselves. Unfortunately, Gran Turismo doesn't really have a need for an engineer trackside, just watching their team drivers, because it is a pretty much beginner level or entry level game. So pretty much an ordinary driver can understand what you need to be to go fast. So an engineer isn't really necessary with a game such as Gran Turismo.
And we're about to get on the way now, Pierre.
Yeah, race is about to start. Brea on pole, the two All Sport drivers just behind him, and we are racing now. And maybe not a very good start from Mr. Hart, but he keeps in third position. Yeah, very, very calm start. Brea still leading and entering now into the first hairpin and the first uphill section. Oh, some contact behind between Diego Rojas and I think Mr. Hart.
Yeah, it's all nice enough actually. Diego Rojas goes for a move on out. I think that contact maybe invited the Azteca driver up the inside of the boss man of Owls Esports himself, and indeed Diego Rojas does manage to get by. So we're already seeing a split in the field. The Owls driver split apart already. We're on board with Defcon, the British driver from my team Esports, as he looks right behind the rear bumper of Per Torres with the GT drivers in P5. Per Torres maybe going for a move up the inside of Alpha. We did think about it. I don't think he's committed enough at this early phase of the race, and it's something we've seen a lot with the consideration of the aggregate timing points system that we run here, as well as your points for a race. We see a lot less fighting in the early stages of the races. Teams try to save as much time as possible so they can battle for position at the end of the race. So what we often see is drivers playing nice, not going for too aggressive moves, saying that Defcon sending it up the inside of Proza to P5. Commentators curse once again, and the British driver and the Spanish driver are going to go side by side up the hill. I think JRX is actually going to give a bumper to Defcon, maybe. He does have the slipstream actually. Up the inside goes Defcon into the penultimate turn. Proza really holding his well around the outside, getting a lot more traction out there. And they're going to go side by side down this back straight. As I was saying, usually there's a lot less fighting as teams try to save as much time as possible so they can battle at the end. There doesn't seem to be any sign of that in the midfield, and that's allowed the two Azteca drivers and two Owls drivers to pull a bit of a gap out front.
And we also have a driver who didn't do a good start. It's Punisher now last in this race. He started P8, if I remember correctly, and he's now last the two Annexions drivers ahead of Punisher. Defcon P6 now, battling with Air Cruiser for the lead. Meanwhile, the two teams of the Azteca and All Sport are escaping already. Yeah, almost a second between Mr. Half P4 and Air Cruiser P5. It seems to have two distinct groups now, P1, P4, and then P5, P10.
What are you seeing out there, Theo?
it looks like everyone's just following the leader, and I don't think anyone's gonna want to make any moves because at the moment it looks like everyone's just about in every other person's slipstream. So as you were saying with the aggregate timing,
It's
it
very calm.
might be worse to battle with people.
It's very calm. Brea still leading. Gunza P2. Diego Rojas at the start who managed to overtake Mr. Alf to take third position. At Cruiser trying to rejoin this group of 4 car leadings, and it's still very close. No one is far behind Punisher. P10 only 4.3 seconds behind the leading car.
Yeah, as I say, they're all playing nice at the moment. Boys has managed to get a bit of a gap on DEFCON. That gap's now 7 tenths. He's putting in some really decent laps here. He's just talking about a lap ago about maybe a gap coming between the top 4 cars and the rest of the field. But the AGT car is working really hard to make that 4-car battle for the lead into the 5-car one. The AGT team haven't had that much to shout about so far this season. They're kind of looking destined at least for the bronze rockets, but you know we saw earlier with Thunderlights there's a bit of a mistake from Alf, and maybe Kreuzer can capitalise on that. He's right on the bumper of the Owls driver now as they head up the hill. But no, we were saying, we saw earlier on in the first race, Thunderlights had done nothing all season, and then they come home, what, P2 and P3?
Yeah, and be careful for Mr. Alf of the comeback of Air Cruiser just behind. Or maybe he will try an overtake Air Cruiser, the AGT driver, on the inside of Mr. Alf to take the 4th position, and he's done it.
Yeah, good move. There was a bit of contact there. It went wheel to wheel. Looking at the aggregate timing, I don't think this early on in the race, I mean, it's a 30-lap race for crying out loud. I don't think it's in Alf's best interest to fight it that early on. If this had been a lap 28, then maybe he would have gone a bit more defensive. But Kreuzer really impressed me with how well he's running that car so far. I'm not sure if it's, again, the subtle setup changes maybe between certain teams where the AGT have a better race car than they've let on with their qualifying performance. But he is hustling that Honda around really well at the moment. And next up, and I mean, he's got to be looking forward with the pace he's running at the moment. Next up, it's last week's race winner, Diego Rojas. Are you seeing anything out there, Phil, that suggests that maybe the AGT car is a better race car than the other teams around them? Or do you think this is just pure pace from the man himself?
I reckon it could be a case of both situations because he's got a very fast car going down the back straight. So I think he set up the car to give him the most chance to pass another driver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because go on.
It's hard to really make a clean pass on this track from what I've seen when you have such high skilled drivers on track together. So I think top speed is going to be a very good advantage that he has.
Oh, we've got a move going on out front actually. Diego's really trying to get by the other Owls car and make this a 1-2. He was looking at the inside into that right-hander, opted not to go for it, the Azteca driver, but he's now right in the slipstream of Gunza. And what did we say earlier about drivers keeping their nose clean early in the race? It seems all abandon is being thrown out the window as Rojas goes up the inside of Gunza, up into that difficult uphill braking zone, and he gets it done very cleanly. And Azteca Racing Motorsports, stop me if you've heard this one before, lead this race 1-2.
Yeah, nice move by Diego Rojas there, and indeed the Azteca drivers are leading now. P1, P2, Gunza dropped to P3, and Gunza will now have to keep an eye on Air Cruiser on a very good pace, the fastest lap set by the AGT driver. Oh, and Gunza a bit wide at the exit of the first hairpin. And maybe there is an opportunity now for Air Cruiser to take the 3rd position in this race.
Yeah, he's hustling that car down the back straight to no end, and he now has the added advantage of slipstream, which he didn't necessarily have before. Yes, Gunza has the slipstream in front as well, but Kreuzer already has a quick car down the back straight. Is he close enough for Lucas yet? I don't think he is, no, and he does opt to not go for any, dive bombs like we see in some of the other circuits. And as I say, maybe later on that would have been done. But he's right on the back of him now. He's pulled a massive gap out to about 0.6 of a second. The Owls team worked really hard to bring some pace here compared to the AGT drive. I'm sure we both mind me saying that. I don't think I'm going to get a sack for it, but not a good start for him at all. Gunza, if you're Gunza, you really do need to get by the Azteca racing car as soon as possible and create some, disorder out in that front group for Al to catch back up, because as things stand, he's now 9/10 behind P4 at the moment. So if I'm Gunza, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to try and create as much fighting as possible, get Alf back in a position where he can fight as well, because we know he has the pace in these sorts of cars if he gets himself in a position to overtake. He's doing a lot of defending from Defcon behind him.
And at the back of the race, Punisher managed to take the 9th position. He's now in the middle of the two Annexions driver. And R3 are very close of Gunza. And Mr. Alf also have some another AGT drivers just behind him. And also Defcon still P6.
Yeah, solid effort. It was a really disappointing race from our team last week, and Punisher managed to get by J-Rex as well, so he's making some steady enough progress heading up the field. I mean, when you're in last, the only way you can look is forward. But no, it's a solid effort from my team. They had a dreadful race by their standards at Bathurst last week, so to be fighting in some form of midfield position for them is already a big enough improvement. As Kreuzer is again looking really racy, he's all over the back of Gunza. I sense there's maybe an opportunity for him to nick up the inside if he wants it heading up here, and that's what he went for it, maybe with a dummy there to try and force Gunza into a bit of a defensive move, maybe an unforced error. He opts not to go for it. However, he does take the exit that corner particularly tight compared to some of the other drivers we've seen out there. I'm not sure whether that's some attacking intent, whether that's just driving style. As we start lap 11, it's a 1-2 for Azteca, with Brea leading Diego Rojas.
Brea still leading, but he doesn't manage to have a big gap with the rest of the field. He stays still 5-6 tenths ahead of his teammate Diego Rojas. Maybe he stay close to give slipstream maybe to Diego. This is a possibility, maybe Philo to stay close of his teammate, to give him slipstream and to not have to fight and to destroy tires in the end of this stint.
This looks like what it is happening, because was it Diego and Kreuzer? Looks like that they've got really fast cars on the straight line, but when it comes to cornering, it looks like they're burning too much of their front tires to keep pace with the leading Azteca car. Yeah, perhaps they've done a split setup. Perhaps higher downforce for Brea.
When Defcon maybe on the inside of Mr. Alf for the 5th position at the exit of the hairpin and at the start of the hairpin section, but no, Mr. Alf managed to stay in 5th position, and also in front between Gunza and R3. It's still very close.
Yeah, no need to go for any ridiculous moves this early on, as you say. Defcon was looking
maybe a contact between Gunza and R3, and R3 a bit wide, like Mehdi at the start of the first race, and he lost a few positions. Gunza back to Mr. Alf, back to 4th position. Defcon also took a position. Raul Toledo up to P6, and R3 now is dropped to P7.
Yeah, very wide from Kreuzer. A real unforced error there. He was under no pressure, but it's as we say, like Phil I mentioned, maybe setup wise, those small margins of opting for more down the back straight and sacrificing some tyre wear. He has worse tyres than the rest of the front competitors, and that's maybe cost him there. Braking a bit too late, braking a bit later than some of the other drivers, and costing him with the worn tyres. We saw that last week at Bathurst with Alvarito, going off on completely worn McGann tyres at the final lap of the race, and that costing him P5. And we've seen it again this week with the worn tyres, maybe being to blame for that incident there. But it's looking all so promising for AGT to get up there and maybe fight for the podium. But now they find themselves P6 and P7 with it all to do. There's the hierarchy now is the Azteca cars 1 and 2, it's the Owls cars 3 and 4, and DEFCON and my team drivers really hustling out to try and make a disruption to that. But no, not a good start, not a good midpoint of this race at all for AGT after it was looking also promising for them. But I'd imagine we're going to see some cars come into pit lane now with we head down the hill lap 14 and look to the start of lap 15, and Gunzer's going defensive here, going for no, he's going into the pit lane.
He's gone into the pit.
Yeah.
First car in, and it's the Owls driver of Gunzer.
Gunza, Vikaman also in the pit lane. 2 drivers pitting at the end of lap 14. Brea Diego was still leading and will do the pit stop. Mr. Alf is now 3rd. DEFCON in 4th position. Raul Toledo, P5, Air Cruiser P6. Air Cruiser with a tiny gap with his teammate, 1 second to gain, to catch, if you want to stay in the battle, maybe for the podium, for a good result. Punisher managed to now be ahead of the 2 Annexions driver. He is 1.7 seconds ahead of G-Rex in 8th position, and Gudza left the pit lane in 9th position. Vikaman is now last, and I think most of the drivers now are about to pit.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much in the way of I know this is only the second race, but we haven't really seen a front runner go for an undercut yet in this particular event. So it'll be interesting to see where Gunza comes out in relation to the cars in front of him. So looking around at the 2 Azteca drivers and Mr. Alf for reference as to whether that undercut would work. So Gunza heading up the back straight, the front stretch now to start lap 16. Cars coming out, are they going to come out in front of them or behind them? And it looks like they will come out in front of them, or at least one. He's managed to get by Diego Rojas.
Oh, and be careful, he got the top speed. He got the top speed. Maybe for the overtake at the exit of the hairpin. Oh, very nice move set by Gunza.
What?
Amazing, the undercut has worked for the old Esports driver.
Oh, what a move. But Philo maybe enlighten us here. He's going to have the cold tyres here, and that could potentially open the door for Brea to get back by for the lead.
It could, and it looks like he is going for the pass maybe into this final turn. Oh, maybe.
Commentator's curse again. Welcome to the commentary booth, Philo.
Welcome to our world, Philo. Are leading, but yeah, Brea is very, very close. He's very offensive. Now tires are at the good temperature for everyone. With the pit stop, Mr. Alf is still P4. DEFCON is now in 5th position. Raul Toledo P6. Air Cruiser now back in the group. The gap is closed almost by Air Cruiser with his teammate, and Punisher lost a position. Vikaman now is in 8th position. He also did the undercut Vikaman, and he managed to get back again, to get back in front of Punisher for the 8th position.
Yeah, and I seeing the pace that the AGT cars have. Like Air Cruiser and P7 does not have the pace of a P7 car. It's just that one unforced error that caused them to fall so far back. Well, I don't see why this might be wishful thinking, but a 7-car battle for the win potentially, because they're Cruiser's only 1.8 seconds off of the lead here, and his teammate Toledo will have a very similar setup to him. DEFCON's found himself in the middle of the pack and has sold my team car on this, and he has some pace, and we already know the pace of the Azteca and now his car bring. So realistically, this could be gearing up for a 7-car battle for the win, and then we have all manner of chaos unfold in front of our very eyes in the closing laps of this one. But those AGT cars are much racier than P6 and P7 suggest, so look out for some moves from them later on down the line.
Yeah, it's still very, very close. The gap between P1 and P7 is of 1.5 seconds, and Air Cruiser on the inside of his teammate is now in 6th position. Yes, and I think Diego Rojas was already ahead of Mr. Alf, and Mr. Alf very close of the 3rd position.
I think that move there. Obviously, we point out time and again there is no drivers' championship in this
Yeah.
series. There's only a team. You're only out there fighting for your team rather than for yourself. As Defcon looking for a move on Mr. Ralph, Whisper P5 for the Owls driver. Sorry, for the My Team driver, isn't able to get by. But I think Kreuzer sort of has a bit more pace than Toledo, who was up there fighting for the podium spots before that incident dropped him back. So I think in terms of the team game, maybe getting Kreuzer in front as that lead AGT driver to sort of pave the way for his teammate and cause some chaos up front. Probably the right move in the long run, as I would probably wager he has a bit more pace than Defcon or Ralph down the back straight. So interesting to see, but probably the right move for the AGT team to put Kreuzer in front. And as we say, no risk of points because they were 6th and 7th before.
Andrea very offensive, or maybe Gunza very defensive in the final corner. Brea is very close to be back on first position, but Gunza is doing very well at defending his position. And this defense set by Gunza let everyone behind in the battle for the podium, or for maybe more. Ooh, Brea on the inside. Yeah, he goes for the move. He goes for the move.
Right up the inside of Gunza, this for the race lead. And he does get by. So lead change. Jose Brea now in the lead of this one as Gunza looks to fight back. They're going to go side by side to start lap 21 up the hill towards the S's, the first 3 turns of this one, and then into that long right-hand uphill braking zone. Brea has the inside, then the outside, and then the inside and the outside again as they head up towards the hill towards turn 4. Gunza with the inside line. Rojas really trying to outbrake Mr. Ralph in that battle, as well as Gunza goes up to get by. He will have the outside line for the next big braking zone on this circuit. However, they're still going to go side by side. But Gunza can really extend the track limits as much as he wants on the exit. And again, we've seen a lot more traction around the outside line for people opting to take it. So Gunza holds on to the race lead just about here. But this is looking to be a 4-car battle for the lead now. Gunza going really defensive. Rojas going defensive himself from Mr. Ralph. Is there potential for more moves being made here? Alf looking up the inside of Rojas. Rojas looking into the inside of Brea. All manner of chaos happening now. Defcon looking for a move on Alf with the switcheroo on the exit of that turn there to start lap 22, and he does get by. Kreuzer can maybe get by Mr. Ralph as well. It's all unwinding for the Owls Esports driver on his first appearance of the season as the AGT car manages to get by as well. And Alf has gone from P4 to P6 in a matter of corners here, all unfolding for the Owls driver now.
Yeah, sadly 2 position lost for Defcon, for Mr. Ralph, and Defcon now up to P4, just behind the 2 Aztecas driver. Now it's 2v1 for the Aztecas. They don't have to manage the OWLS driver behind them. Oh yeah, and Gunza on the inside, different line for him. Anything can happen. I think anything can happen in those final laps of this race. It's clearly impossible to tell who will finish on the podium.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Alf drives for the championship leading team. He's designed this car himself. He's not designed the car, designed the setup himself. So you think he'd have the knowledge of it to be able to take the car further forward. Kreuzer is running fantastic pace as well. Defcon, my team, have been nowhere the entire season. They've been no team basically, but they're now finding themselves in the battle for a podium finish and potentially the race win here. And Defcon is looking really racy on Diego Rojas actually, so look out for moves being made there. But Gunza doing a phenomenal job of holding the lead here, Philo.
Yes, indeed. It looks like Defcon is setting up for the last minute run to the line, because he's got very good tyre work compared to the 4 other guys in front of him. So it looks like his setup is seems to be coming in during the race.
Kreuzer on the inside of Defcon at the beginning of this lap 24, and he's taking the 4th position. Nice move by Kreuzer. Oh, be careful, the braking on the up-in. We almost lost it. Kreuzer and Defcon to lose a position again.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it starts with maybe the tiny misjudgment by R3.
And Defcon does get passed by L. What was that you were saying, Finn? No, I shouldn't have said that. That's really rude. I do apologise. Defcon's still got a chance for a move here, and Mr. Alfo to maybe get slipped through on the exit. Use that advantage down the back straight. He's got Toledo in behind, giving him a bit of a bump maybe as he heads up the inside of Alf now. Alf really running it around the outside very well indeed, but he is going to run out of space, and Defcon does get by. That's created a bit of a chasm between P4 and P5, 9/10 of a second that gap now. That's given Kreuzer and the group in front a lot more breathing room here actually, so this has sort of descended into what could be a 4-car battle for the win. But Kreuzer, what a phenomenal effort from the AGT driver. He had an incident before the pit stop. He's now found himself back into the battle for the lead. As the old motorsport saying goes, he'd practically be having a nosebleed he's this high up. We've barely seen him and the AGT team anywhere near a fight for the win this season. And similar to what we saw from Thunderlights earlier this evening, there's a very real chance that the AGT team pick up their first race win of the season.
And do you think it's still possible for Defcon, Mr. Alf and Raul Toledo to catch the group of 4 leading cars still battling? Because there is a gap now of 9/10, almost a second to if they want to rejoin. I think it's doable in 5 laps, as long they are still battling for the lead, and they will lost few seconds maybe.
Listen, you'd be a fool to bet against anything happening in this race. I'm not a betting man. Luckily, the bookies don't take odds on the InfinityGSeries. If they did, I would be staying well clear of it, because like anything can happen in this race. You know, we could have a 4-car pileup and Defcon come through to win the race in the last gas battle. I don't know what could happen. This is a ridiculous battle here. 4 and a bit laps left now as they head down the back straight for the 26th time. And Defcon is closing that gap ever so slightly. It's now 6/10. All that in battle at the front is going to help.
And for the lead, Brea for the lead on the outside.
There's a move for the lead. Brea and Gunther going side by side up the hill towards the final hairpin. Gunther having to go defensive again. Brea's going to try to switch back on the exit. They'll start at lap 27. The 2 lead cars are going to go side by side. They're side by side behind as well between Rojas and Kreuzer. All manner of chaos happening as we head through the S's at the start of lap 27. Gunther does well to hold the inside line and gets back ahead of P1. But who knows what moves are going to be made into turn 4. Gunther going very defensive, but that leaves him exposed on the exit. Brea's through. Is Rojas going to go through as well? He is. It's a 1-2 for Azteca, and Herr Kreuzer is going to look through as well for P3. Gunther massively misjudging his braking zone into the hairpin, and he's lost 3 positions, and all of a sudden Azteca lead 1-2 once again, and then it's an AGT come on the podium.
Oh my god, 3 position lost by Gunza in this hairpin start of the lap 27, but baby, Gunza to be back on the podium on the inside of R3. Is on the inside and he is P3, and Defcon just behind also to gain a position and maybe to be on a podium at the start of this lap 28.
Unbelievable! They're going to go side by side. I think Gunza's going to hold on to it. The Azteca drivers are checking out now. I'm not quite sure what the gap is. I think it's about 6/10 here. Kids are going massively on the defensive here. Kreuzer getting by Defcon as well. Defcon went really wide there. I don't know what happened. Yeah. But Kreuzer's managed to get by as well. There's more battling in the midfield. And Mr. Alf, Toledo and Punisher are now in with a shout here. Okay, maybe not Punisher, but certainly Alf and Toledo are in with a shout of the podium finishing here as well. That battle allows them to close the gap. And all of a sudden there are 7 cars in the battle for the win, and a further 4 in the battle for the podium as Gunzer goes defensive on Kreuzer, heading into the final corner for the 28th time. Gunzer holding tight on the inside. Kreuzer trying to go for the switchback on the exit. He rides the sausage curve to no abandoned whatsoever. They're going to go side by side. Defcon's got the slipstream heading up the hill to start lap 29. They're going to head to the first braking zone at turn 4. Here, light dab on the brakes through turn 1, that left curve, and then we go right and left again before the big turn 4 braking zone here. Alf's gone wide, sorry, Gunzer's gone wide, Defcon going up the inside, and he's lost 2 more positions again. This is unbelievable, Theo.
Oh yeah, tiny mistake by Gunza, and he's now P6. Even Mr. Alf overtook his teammate, and the 2 Azteca drivers are going for another 1-2 in this race, and it's battling for the podium for the top 5 as well. Air Cruiser P3, but Defcon very close behind, one more lap incoming.
This is unbelievable. I mean, the two of us Taka drivers have checked out. It looks for love and money that's going to be a 1-2 for them. But who'd have predicted at the start of this race that the battle for the podium would be led by an AGT driver and then a My Team driver? Start of lap 30 now, the final lap of the race and of the evening here at the Infinity G-Series. Brea leads from Diego Rojas, heading up the hill to start the final lap through the S-curve and towards the right-hand braking zone on turn 4. Do we see any moves made, or does everyone remain patient? It looks like there's no overtakes being made here. They've got one more major braking zone incoming at the final turn of this circuit, turn 7, for it to count. Otherwise, that could be it for any opportunity. There's a slight chance here for anyone bold enough to make the move. But similar to what we see in a Red Bull ring, actually, in Salzburg, they'll all bide their time to the bigger braking zone at the bottom of the circuit here. And we go very defensive. Pros are going incredibly defensive on Defcon, really squeezing the British driver in here. This is the battle for the podium. Coming through the final corner now, they go hard on the brakes. Crozer looks like he's outbroken himself. Defcon on the inside. Defcon's through. Defcon through for the podium. It'll be 1-2 for Azteca. Brea's going to win from Diego Rojas. But it's Defcon who takes home P3 for my team's first podium in Max 25 gaming. What a race, what a final lap, what a move. I'm out of breath, goodness gracious me.
And thanks to the spectator mode, we didn't see the overtake of Defcon on Air Cruiser. We will see that on the replay, of course. But what a win for Gibrea, and a 1-2 for the Azteca Motorsport team. What a result for them. And Punisher, Defcon on the podium. We will see that in a few seconds. But first of all, the results of this race. Brea winner ahead of his teammate Diego Rojas. Defcon on the podium. What a performance for him. Air Cruiser P4. The all Esports drivers P5 and P6 only, I would say, for Mr. Alf and Guzar. Raul Toledo P7, Punisher P8, and the two Annexion drivers P9 and P10. Guys, what a race. What a race.
Phenomenal stuff, and a lot of love for my team in the comments. I think we got the significant other of Defcon in the chat, Mrs. Defcon. A lot of love for him, and what a race it was. I mean, as I say, you know, you start the race, you think, okay, you've got the Azteca drivers, you've got the Owls drivers, those are going to be the top 4. I mean, in terms of the championship standings, Azteca are now very much in a shout of leading the championship come at the end of this one. Exactly. And 92 Esports will be licking their lips because they've just seen the two Owls cars come home P5 and 6. And there's a lot more points on the line tomorrow, especially, you know, the 92 lineup is so stacked. Like, you got Joao Pessoa, really fast Brazilian drivers, ran both races for them this season. And he's been supported by a very fast Italian driver as well in both of the races, and Nicholas Fontano or Ghost Baby. So that's the lineup that comes in tomorrow. To be clear on this one, not to start. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you for joining us, Mrs. Defcon. Very much appreciated. And well done on your husband taking home a deserved podium finish. But no, the 92 team will be looking their lips. There's a lot to love for them heading into tomorrow to potentially launch an assault and take home our first championship lead of the season after the third race. I mean, from your perspective, Philo, what are you seeing there?
I think that Defcon has a really good race car, and comparing to what you've been saying with his previous performances, it seems like he's hit a gold mine with this event right now, and I think he's gonna take advantage of it. I had a feeling that he was going to be good for podium at least mid race.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if we're going to have the My Team the My Team outfit, you know, lobbying Garnata for more tuning events. I'm not sure if that's something that's going to be happening, but no, it's a very, very quick race car from the British driver. As I say, for a team as storied as my team, when we take a look at the move here, this is their first ever podium in the Mach 25 ecosystem, so a great effort from them. This is the final move. I think Corsa just got a bit overexcited in the braking zone there, and I mean, it's you can't blame him too much. Defcon had the overspeed heading through the X on that final corner. He executed the old switcheroo, as we say in motorsport, to great effect to come home and take the podium, but he will be delighted. And you really do sense that for a team like my team, who have been punching well below their weight at the start of the season, this is the sort of pep in their step they need to maybe launch an assault on further up divisions than their current position suggests.
What an overtake by Defcon. We have it on the replay. Absolutely astonishing by Defcon to take the third position in this race, and very, very close between the drivers just behind as well. What a race! What a race. So much thing to watch. To be honest, in this replay. But I wanted first to show you the overtake, the final overtake for the podium by Defcon. Absolutely, it's clinical what Defcon did.
Absolutely, yeah, phenomenal effort from him. He's very, very impressive, and you know, as I say, it's a real momentum boost for them as well after a difficult start to the season. They're one of the top teams in the French Tour, so they will have expected a lot more than they actually had. P10 and P11 at the start of the Bathurst last week, and yes, it wasn't a particularly good race for Punisher, to be honest, and we're on board with him at the moment. I'm not sure there's something we wanted to cover here, but his teammate Defcon will be cock-a-hoot with his result, and I think this might be the move for Kreuzer here on Mr. Ralph, actually going up the inside at the end of lap 5 and getting by, and obviously it all kind of went wrong for him thereafter. He had a phenomenal effort, he was fighting for the podium until the last, but what I'm thinking is if he hadn't had that incident that I think we're trying to filter through and find right now, if he hadn't pulled up wherever he did at that final turn early on in the race, could Kreuzer have been fighting for the win? That's my question.
Yeah, maybe he was. I think he was a good position to do a very, very big result. Kreuzer. Let's see. It was lap 24, I guess, for Kreuzer. The mistake in the first lap. Where is he? I think it's him. I think it's in lap 24. Let's move. Lap 24, battle for P4 I had. I think it's there or it's behind? Where is it? We have the overtake of Defcon on Mr. Alf on the last turn right here. Where is it? Lap 27 I have. Oh yeah, it's there. The tiny mistake by Kreuzer there in the S's.
Coming up the hill now, and what happens from he runs it out a bit wide, tries to get the switch back on the exit, and Gunter, I think, misjudged the braking zone quite a bit, and that allowed him to get by, and this was lap 27, so this is very much the closing battle here, and Kreuzer does manage to get by. I think he sees that position a bit later on down the line, even before his final lap battle, but it was this sort of battling and these sort of errors through that turn 4 braking zone was really difficult to nail, and that particular complex lost a lot of time for these drivers today and earlier in the evening with this one, as Gunter manages to force his way back by very good effort, very opportunistic race driving there, and then that allowed Defcon to get a bit further up. But it was this sort of battling that allowed the Azteca drivers to check out and build that advantage, and once these sort of midfield cars, upper midfield cars start battling, once you've got two drivers in the same team in front, you can work together and use the slipstream to just pull away and consolidate that one. So Gunter nearly hit Diego Rojas, actually, it looked like, from that perspective. Not sure if we can get a rewind on that. But it looked very, very close for Gunter to hitting Diego Rojas, and that could have been all sorts of chaos there, but as it happened, it was the two Azteca cars that came home, P1 and P2, and a very good effort from them. And as I say, in the championship battle, I think, if my math serves me correctly, they will be taking the championship lead to the next round provisionally until we see what 92 do in the tomorrow evening slot, and get more fighting here between Gunter and Kreuzer. Does Gunter misjudge his braking zone here? See, Kreuzer really riding that sausage curve there and heading up the hill now, using that overspeed a bit more. I think the switchback in this particular complex proved really effective in this one.
He's out of the... and the big contact here with Gunter. and Defcon who managed to survive as well with the the start of the chaos in front of him, but he managed very well, and sadly at this point Gunza, who lost 2 positions, even Mr. Alf on the inside overtook him in this lap start of the lap 29.
Unfortunately, Goons is experiencing the problems with what happens when you have to pit early and undercut, as you now have less grip than everyone else that did not undercut, and it just looks like he's just falling back because of less grip.
And then this amazing final lap set by Defcon. And there's also the lap, lap 12. There is also something. Yeah, we've had I think it was R3.1 lap 12 who did also a tiny mistake.
Yeah, I think in terms of moments I've commentated on, this final lap move, I think this is possibly the joint most effort I've ever given into the commentating, alongside the Interlagos race at GT7, the teams in the Elite Championship. Anyone remembers that in October last year? Because this move in particular, phenomenal. Like we've said, the switchbacks been used to decent effect. Yeah, this is very opportunistic driving. Kreuser's missed the apex. He's gone for a late apex. He's missed it completely. Defcon's held back early, sort of sensed the opportunity to see if it's coming rather than going for a big send on the final lap. He's bided his time. He's played the patience game, and ultimately it's paid off. And it's a phenomenal move to cap off a phenomenal race for him. And the My Team Esports boys will be buzzing because it's a very, very deserved podium finish. Now, this is where it all went wrong for Kreuser, and to think what could have been, he came on P4 in this one, fighting for the podium. Even after this was their con that he just got veered wide by Gunza. Now, is there a question that Gunza didn't give him enough space there? That's what I'm interested to see. Whether we can go back and maybe pause, see if what me and Yomas did last week is we sort of looked where was Gunza steering? Is he steering into Kreuser there potentially, or is there enough space there for the AGT driver to make a move on the Owls driver? So on with Gunza at the moment. Watch the little red dot. No, he's veering right. He is veering right, to be fair to him.
Yeah,
but is there enough space? That's what the stewards will have to decide. And the stewards the stewards haven't exactly been lenient in the first couple of races of the season. So that'll be the decision Nico Romero and the stewarding team will have to make, whether that is enough room for Kreuzer to get by and get the move done. I'm not convinced it is. But at the end of the day, that's why I'm thankful I'm sitting in the commentary box and not on the steward's booth, because I'm not sure I'll be able to make that decision.
Yeah, and everyone is turning. Everyone, everyone is on the edge during the race. So they gave like minimal space. There was space. Was it enough? It will be to the staff and to the stewards to decide about that. But what a second race. The first one was very fun, but this one was also very, very enjoyable. Very, very interesting. That's it for the replay of the race 2. The standings are now up to date with the second race. Let's show that the rankings now. And we have first in the standings the Azteca Racing Motorsport 1.1 second ahead of the Kraken Stains GT. Good operation made by Brea and Diego Rojas in this race number 2. The AGT drivers P3 for Raul Toledo and R Kreuser. P3, the All C Sport P4, and my team with the great results of Defcon are P5 provisionally in the race standings. The Thunderlight P6, the Simfrimi Sport P7, the Alien Motorsport P8, the Annexion Racing P9, the Elite Racing Squad P10, and the EPLF P11. Sadly, we have one team missing with the Jokers team who can't attend to the previous race. Wow. Just wow. What an evening it was, guys. Philo, what's your feeling about those two very exciting races?
I I'm quite interested to see if I can try and get Distinct to come and join, because this is some very good racing. It is very, very enjoyable to even just watch, let alone drive. So maybe I can try and get a squad together.
Yeah, and it was very interesting.
Very
I'm not very used with race and with open setups races, to be honest. But that was very, very fun. We've seen a large variety of setups of strategy in terms of tuning, and yeah, it was very, very interesting. I think you agree with me and Philo, Finlay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously couldn't contribute as much as I wanted to with the first race due to my dodgy network, and I do apologise for that. All issues on my end, it seemed, but all fixed for the second race. And we speak about Mac 25 being an ecosystem where, we sort of think outside of the box in terms of our race combinations. So we don't just go for, your group 3 at Suzuka, your group 4 at Spa-Francorchamps, your usual daily races that you often see every week, and they do get a bit repetitive and kind of boring. Or we place a lot of emphasis on out there combinations. So whether it was last week, yes, we had Group 4 cars, but there were only 4 you could pick from. Or the week before last, we had Group B cars on a road course. This week, it's K cars on a shortened road course with open tuning. And it's the first ever race Mac 25 have run with open tuning. It does feel like something that's maybe been overdue a bit, given the nature of our ecosystem and how much we like to promote races that don't necessarily go with the grain. So I think, given off of tonight's evidence, and I mean, I won't be there tomorrow evening, but we're watching it on catch up on Wednesday, and hopefully there's more thrilling racing to come. I think there's a real argument for a lot more races to come, and I hope Garnat is thinking of that in terms of getting a few more open tuning races out there, because it's been a roaring success tonight. I think the three of us and everyone at home, especially Mrs. Defcon, agrees with me.
Yeah, what an evening. Thank you, Finlay. Thank you also, Philo, for joining us for this amazing evening of racing. Finlay, thank you for covering all the beginning of this championship. Good. Wish you the best, of course, with the studies and everything, the exams and
Thank you. Thank you very much.
and everything. And I hope we'll see you soon there. Thank you, Philo. I don't know if you're there, Philo, tomorrow. Maybe not. I don't remember. Who is there tomorrow? It's Jens broadcasting tomorrow with a new commentator. So stay around to discover who it is. And Jonas also will be there for this second evening of the round 3. Just take a look at the teams we will have tomorrow evening. In the first race of the evening, the Customs GT, the Avalon, Control the Time, the Vanquish Esports, the Maniac Revolution, and Hydra Rangeport. And for the final race of the evening and of this round 3, the Team Monza Racing, the Visceral Esports, the 92 Esports, the Deluxe Team, the Nexus, and the Avutarda Racing Team. Thank you, Finlay. Thank you, Philo. I don't know if you have any last word before closing this broadcast.
No, I'm really excited and ready for tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think it's been great racing.
It will be very fun tomorrow, indeed. Finlay, any final word? The final word is for you.
How come?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's been a fantastic evening. It's been a fantastic first couple of rounds. As I say, I'm off ski for a bit, but being able to cover the first 5 races of the season plus the pre-qualifier, first five rounds of the season, first 10 races of the season. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll see you back with some good news after my exams regarding how they've gone. But no, it will be really fun tomorrow, so please do tune in tomorrow evening. Even if you're without the luscious looks of myself, we have a whole array of other commentators who are just as good, if not better, at my job. Looking at the calendar for the rest of the season, I mean, my goodness, we head to Spa-Francorchamps thereafter. We go to Dragon Trail for round 5. I believe that's the lesser spotted Gardens reverse layout of that circuit, so that's very interesting to see.
Yeah, that's
Barcelona. Spain's Barcelona. We head to Abu Dhabi, one of the newest circuits in the game, for round 7. Round 8. What is round 8? Alsace or Santa Clara?
Round 8. No, it's Le Mans. Round 8.
The other one. I picked the. I forgot.
It's the best racetrack of the world for round 8. Circuit de la
How
Sarthe.
could I forget? There are 3 French tracks in the game, and I've remembered Alsace and Santa Croix.
And you mentioned Alsace before mentioning Le Mans. For me.
I don't. I am a commentator. I do promise.
Yeah, but
I'm
for
watching
me, who is born
I'm
in Le
watching
Mans,
Philo's screen share at the moment. He's just gone into World Circuits to check that there are 3 French circuits in the game.
Yeah.
Yes, there are. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Le Mans round 8, Spa-Francorchamps round 9, and final race on Grand Valais Highway 1 for the final race of the championship on June 16. Thank you very much, Finlay. Thank you very much, Philo. Thank you, everyone on the chat. I hope you enjoyed the show. See you tomorrow for the last 2 races of this amazing round 3 of the Infinity G Series 2026. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.